Hi guys, good morning, good evening. We are waiting for other people to come over here to answer your questions. And I'm just opening the. I'm sorry, I was distracted with other voices that I had. I opened my YouTube and I heard my voice over there. So anyway, okay, now we have already questions over here, and we want the Lehman Seminary will answer your question on the live chat, but I'm waiting for the people to come over here to answer also your question. I am not the one who will answer your question, but I will try if I need to. But you know, um, I'm anyway. So attention to those people who are who are part of this live streaming to answer the question from the audience. So I am represent uh, with the Lehman Seminary. Lehman Seminary is at work, but he is on chat, so you can uh, you can type down your questions, and maybe the Lehman Seminary will answer your question on the chat, not on the live streaming, but he will come over here when he will come when he got home. Okay, that's from Lehman Seminary. He can't, okay, he cannot answer question from chat. Okay, but hopefully you can. I'm still waiting for the people that come over here. Um, can I mention them? Just tell them what this series, Okay, so don't even telling me about that. So, but anyway, this is maybe for we need to. Oh my goodness, Charlie. I hope that you cannot. But first, I hope you cannot. Uh, heard something noisy over here. It's so noisy because the Catholic people, which is in front of my house, they are preparing for their cart. You know, the cart that they are going to do their Holy Week tradition. So that cart is in front of my house, and they are fixing on it for I think for tomorrow or for 29. I'm not sure. I don't know when they were going to do that. So they are in front of my house and so noisy, doing things. So but anyway, this live streaming or this kind of what we call that categories, ask friggers people, we were going to um, maybe sooner we were going to organize the Liman Seminary. This is only for the introduction or beginning of the new version, no, not version, new how is it, how you say that, new types of in the Lima Seminary, not just debating, not just doing Bible study, not so this is part of the categories of the Lima Seminary that we will be going to do in the future. Oh no, I'm already starting it. So Jeremy, okay, explain that tradition. Okay, I think I already said that. yeah, the tradition. Okay, the tradition of the Catholic here in my place is, uh, during Holy Week, they were going to parade. All the all of what happened to Jesus during the time they were going. They are trying to make it like the same thing as before. In the cart, have this Jesus carrying the cross, and also there is Jesus that the Sadducees, hitting him, and there is this Jesus with Mary looking at the cross. So that's the image or the statue that on the cart. So there are lots of statue like a image that form men and women and kids on the cart. So they are doing that. So okay, so I think I already said about the tradition, and now Jeremy said I want to be updated on the rooster. Now you just heard, I think. There is a noise, but there's also a rooster, so it's mixed. So I hope you can identify which one is, and sometimes there's a cat. Okay, you heard that, right? So yeah, you just updated. Okay, I calling to the people who are, hi Simon Natras, hi servant of Christ, hi layman, hi brother Jeremy, hi redeem, redeem. What's this? I'm sorry if I cannot see your I cannot pronounce your name. Rog molecules. Okay. So I think some theology is part of this thing. So please, some theology come in, and I let you manage because actually I just cook cat's food, and then but I didn't let them eat yet. I didn't feed them yet. So I hope I need I need you to come over here, please, because the layman cannot come do live, but until he can, arrive home. So okay, I will start from the beginning of the message. Maybe there's a question over there, and uh, I just want to greet those people who have comments over here, and later on, if someone come over here already, meaning the involved people come over here. They can answer your questions, but for now, I'll show the audience this. Pin out the comments while mentioning their names. Okay, Noah Ramosin. Hi, thank you so much for coming here. And Servant of Christ. There is already a question from Servant of Christ. I have somebody who will answer him, or the people who are free grace. People who are free grace, please come over here to to answer the audience questions. This is this is an opportunity for all the free grace to come together, to involve in this kind of media, in this kind of what. Oh my goodness, Lord. um you know uh to answer the question, we need to get together to answer the question for those who are not free grace, because it is not just debating, as what I said earlier. It is not just debating or studying or Bible study, we need to have this type of online ministry for the people to have freely freely have their thoughts to come to pin out or to write down, so that they have their you know some many Christians have confusion, especially this time, because there's a lot of doctrine out there, that false doctrine out there. So we need free grace in enable us to correct, uh, you know uh, not okay, to correct as much as possible biblical. So, okay, servant of Christ, if free grace is the gospel, that anyone who has claimed to have believed in the gospel had then believe in free grace. Therefore, whatever happens after wouldn't matter, correct? Um, you cannot save by believing free grace. Uh, Hi, who are free grace, please come over here. Uh, this is really, an opportunity to all free grace to express themselves online, because there's many false teachers online spreading the false teaching. So, hi, uh, Rachel Menefe. I hope I pronounce your name correct. Hi to and all of here. So anyway, I'm going back to uh, servant of Christ questions, and so okay. Please come over here. Can I mention their name? Lemon Seminary. Can I mention their name to come over here to answer their questions? I mean, to come over here, yeah, to come over here, so that the free gracer can answer the question on the live chat. So please come over here. Oh, okay. Good news. Thank you, Lord. Okay. Hi.
An
Hi,
angel
brother.
appears. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So can I be raptured myself now, and you can wait those
No,
people.
you don't. You can't leave.
Uh, okay, but I mean, oh my goodness,
Hey,
Lord, thank you
Janet.
so much. Hi, Brother Taylor. So servant of Christ have this question. So, are you do you
Yeah.
want to answer this?
If free grace is the gospel, then anyone who has claimed to have believed in the gospel had then believed in free grace. Therefore, whatever happens wouldn't matter, correct? Well, when it depends on what you mean by wouldn't matter. I mean, if you believe in the gospel at one point in time, you're eternally secure. So in that sense, can you lose, your salvation? No. But as far as wouldn't matter, well, it certainly matters as far as what you do after you believe, as far as, pleasing God and inheritance and, future judgments to come. But it doesn't matter in the sense of losing your salvation.
Okay, thank you for that, Brother Taylor, and have
Yep.
a follow up.
Whether
Whether
they
they
go into
go.
Calvinism or yeah, exactly. They can, we believe any Christian, even, we can all fall into false teaching and we can believe all sorts of crazy stuff. So, and we saw that with the Galatian church, they were falling into stuff early. Um, you know, even in the Old Testament, they fell into, they were worshiping demons, sacrificing their children. So yeah, believers can do despicable things and they're still
Uh,
eternally secure.
okay, thank you so much, Brother Taylor. And here's Noah Ramessen's question.
Matter well wouldn't matter in the sense, right? Exactly. So Noah's just he's saying what I said.
Oh, okay. So
Thanks,
he
Noah.
already
Yeah,
answered.
Noah, that was good. That's exactly what I meant. Thank you.
Okay. So here's another.
One
he
who
mentioned.
follows the free grace theology wouldn't be able to say one who follow wouldn't be able to say one isn't saved just because they don't. Right, exactly. We don't look at what people are currently teaching and make a judgment call on their salvation. We don't believe that external behaviors prove that one's saved or not. We don't look at that. We just ask you, did you believe the gospel at one point in time? And based on what they say, we take that in faith that they're telling us the truth, and we go from there.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm just posting their,
Yeah.
conversation, and we will wait until have a questions over there to pin out. So, what do you think? What do you think I assume that they said that something can be proof that you were never saved to begin with.
Right.
Eh?
Yeah, that's what people in the lordship would say. They'd look to your fruits or what you currently believe and make a statement that you're not saved based on how you're currently thinking or behaving.
Oops, sorry. Anyway, so where's that? I'm sorry. I just okay. Okay. You said that already, and where's that? Nunya Biz have this question. I think. What blood covenant are free grace in? What he means by that?
I'm not sure. What are the words? Where can I find them? I wish to read the words to see if I want to join up. um, well, we just believe that we're under the covenant of, in the church age. I don't know if that's a covenant per se, but, Jesus' death covers all sin. And when we believe on him, we're imputed Christ's righteousness. So, whatever covenant you think that fits into.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Taylor. And some theology have this. Do you believe in penal substitutionary atonement?
I think I do. Penalty due. I have to look that up again. Know exactly what that is.
Okay.
But I think that Jesus paid the penalty for sin. I think that's, and because
So
he's never commits sins, he's able to atone for our sin. So
yeah, so that's part of the, like, when you believe, when we say we believe in Jesus, that I think that's cover all up, right? His
yeah, it says,
work,
um,
his, you know.
yeah, I'm reading. It says penal substitution means Jesus' death on the cross propitiated or satisfied God's requirement for justice. So I believe that.
Yeah, of course we do.
Yeah.
And we have, okay, I'm going to I just want to to pin out that. And thank you so much, brother Jeremy. And we have, I keep hearing
I keep
about,
juice juice grace crunk grace. Yeah, is it sold? Yes. It's
what was
9.99.
that?
You can get it on the laymanseminary.com. Expedited shipping. Use promo code experiential and you get a buy one get one coupon.
Oh wow, I don't know that. What's that?
It's just a joke because we were talking about, remember
Oh,
crunk
okay.
grace, remember that whole,
Mm.
it's just a joke.
Okay. So some theologists said, is there a definitive IQ
IQ
cutoff
cut where
point?
someone is saved regardless of their belief. Yeah, it's IQ of 56. Some theology. That's how smart you have to be.
So you
I'm
think
just
that
going again.
I have that too?
I don't know, Janet. I think I'm not saved if that's the barrier.
Anyway, that's cool. Or is it
I'm
free?
not sure I understand the question, so I don't mean to be joking, but I don't think I understand your question.
Yeah, yeah. And Jeremy first, how is the? Oh, that's for me. How is the roster? We need to be updated on the roster. Okay, they are noisy over here, so I think you just heard them now. So, Charlie earlier,
Are
as
those your roosters, Janet, or are they the
it-
neighbors? Or
the neighbors, yeah, 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 it's not my rooster. It's from the neighbors. All neighbors have roosters, you know. Uh, some of them, the not just rooster. It's a chicken. They are
Yeah. Well, do they
not
give you
pet.
anything like as tribute for the loud noises they make on all the live
Yeah.
streams?
No, didn't know me. They know me, but not personally or have a relationship with them. Actually, my neighbors is, because I am, you know, Christian over here, and all of my neighbors are, I think, are Catholic. And
Hmm.
when I make the volume up when the Lemon Seminaries debate and the Lemon Seminaries teaching, like they just close their ears. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
So so they need to have rooster to cover up their ears.
Got you. That's their counterattack. That's their weapon.
Yeah. Okay, so I say that because of Jeremy Frost's comments, and a servant of Christ said, uh what's
Some
this?
say you have to also believe in the Trinity. If you say you're a Calvinist, then you're not saved. Or if you believe in works-based, or if you believe one can lose salvation. Yeah, free grace doesn't think like this. Um,
Yeah,
so
there
yeah,
may be we have
there's
saying
bad free
that.
gracers that do, like Jack
Yeah,
Smack and people who claim to be free
yeah.
grace, but then they make videos telling Calvinists they're not saved, and they
Yeah, they are
essentially
not.
fall into the trap of well, if you're not free grace, you're not saved, and that's actually not a free grace position. So
Yeah,
um,
we are not like that
we're trying to
with
distinguish
people.
ourselves from them, and I think Charles has
Yeah,
done a very good job of that in his
yeah. Thank you,
videos,
Layman.
and yeah, setting off the free grace wars, I guess.
Yeah, the continuation of the question. Hi, Simon Atras. And Simon Atras said, when Calvinists invited unsaved to repentance, are they doing so on the basis that they are unregenerate or generate? What do you think, brother
Are they
Kevin?
doing so in the? I don't know what he means by they are unregenerate. Like the people they're inviting
Yeah,
to repentance, or
yeah. When
I think
Calvinists
they,
invited,
yeah, I think they believe, and I'm not a professor of Calvinism, but I think that they think that you're elected, but you're not actually regenerate until you believe the gospel. But they're always elect, always one of God's elect. So that when they're inviting the unsaved to repentance, they believe that they're unregenerate, but if they're one of God's elect, they will become regenerate when they believe. So I think that's how they would phrase it.
okay, we have servant of Christ. My statement to know was a response to his question, which was, what
Okay.
do other free gracers say to me? Okay, we got you, servant of Christ. Some theology said there's no link. Oh, okay. Oh, because I said earlier that some theology, please come over. Is some theology free grace? Sorry. I,
Um,
right?
I can't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
Charles Charles is just giving the link to like free gracers he knows like on Discord, so it's not an
Yeah.
open link right now. I think he'll probably come in and open it up, but for now it's not an
Yeah,
open link.
there is specific people that need to come, invited to come over here. And there
When
are
does Charles
10.
get home?
Yeah.
Soon?
Yeah, soon.
Okay.
Yeah, and he want this to going on while he is at work. So Simon Natural said, I mean, if they are inviting unsaved to repent when they are ungenerate, then they, in their view, are asking a dead man to respond, right? And
Right.
if they are already generated, then they are saved, right?
Yeah, I think it's confusing as well. I don't agree with their whole
Yeah, the
I don't
question is
agree with
how
the
the
doctrine,
way
so I agree
they
with you that. Go ahead.
regenerate. The question is how they are regenerated, like 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 the Calvin, the Calvinist doctrine, the way they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well they
Like
believe you're regenerate and then you believe, right? So
yeah,
at some point, yeah, I don't know if they think they're always regenerated or or it's right before they believe. I think that's how it is, but they make it a point to say that you don't believe and then become regenerate. It's the
Mm,
other way around.
yeah. And also, Simon Natra said it's a matter of future rewards or loss of them and discipline in this
Right.
life for disobedience.
Yeah.
And Jeremy Frost said, you are doing okay. Thank you so much. Some theology said, what do you mean when you say come over here? Oh, okay. I think that was earlier that I said come over in the, in the live
Yeah.
streaming. So, but I think if you are there in the group on Discord, you already notified. But if you are not there, so maybe,
Yeah,
yeah,
this is just the first day, so Charles will get this ironed out. He
yeah,
really threw
next
you out
time.
here, Janet. On he told you to come out here and tap dance for everyone. Put
Yeah,
on a show, Janet.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'll
sorry.
be home from work later. Go ahead.
Okay, so Nunya visit ready for work. What's this? Is this I don't want that.
He's talking in slang.
Oh, I think Sis Elizabeth is one on the Discord, right?
Yeah. Hey, Elizabeth.
Uh, that invited to come over here to answer questions. And some theology said, oh, I should say, Rachel Menife. Some theologians said, what are the possible free grace interpretations of First Timothy 5:8? Wouldn't a believer who forsook his family be in a better standing than an unbeliever?
1 Timothy 5:8. Let me pull that.
What
It
do you think?
says, but if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. So, yeah, denying the faith is, an experiential. He's not working out his faith. It's like denying the faith. So you're worse than an infidel. That doesn't mean you're not saved. It's just of low status. You're worse than an infidel. Like you're not showing your faith when you're not providing for your own. So you can't say you're in the faith. You're acting in faith and things when you're not even taking care of your own house.
Okay, thank you. And some theology again is what's that? Mortem
Repentance
repentance
possible.
possible? If not, does God no longer want them to be saved? What kind of question is that? I don't know.
I mean, God just lays out you have this time period to get saved, and it's just the means. That's the means by which um, you go to heaven. It has to do with this lifetime. It's appointed
Okay.
unto man once to die, and after the judgment. So it does. I don't think that means God no longer wants them saved. He gave a means, and it's up to us to believe or not. He gave us ample time for us to get saved.
Okay, another some theology again. But before that, I prefer to Gulf Side Ministry said I prefer to think in terms of standard deviation from the
Yeah,
two
he's talking
points.
about the IQ comment.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
funny. That's
and
too deep for me.
yeah. Some theologians said it is hard to believe based on what religion culture I grew up in. If so, wouldn't it be more prudent for God to only allow believers to be fertile? What he said?
Fertile
What?
meaning, I think he means able to
Yeah,
procreate, so able to
yeah,
make children.
yeah.
That's a weird. That's Is it
So
harder to believe based? Yeah, I mean certainly different. Yeah, I would say in certain areas, you're probably more likely to get the gospel than others, but I don't think that's any kind of attack on God's nature. Um, wouldn't it be more prudent for God to only allow? Not necessarily. I mean, He wants all to be saved. I get what you're saying. Seems philosophical in nature. Not sure exactly how to understand that or how to answer that, but
yeah,
I
I'm
don't
going to
think I
share.
don't have any issue with God
Yeah,
having people born in different parts of the world and under believers or not believers.
So I have this question for, for you, brother. For example, you have in the look in the place that all our traditions, like all are Catholic. There is no Christians near your in your neighborhood, and you don't know anything. And because and what do you think those people are? Are they saved?
Say that again. Like if everyone in your neighborhood's Catholic,
Yes,
well, it
and
just
I
depends on what they believe about Jesus. I mean, I think there's a lot of bad Catholics who, you know, they don't realize exactly what the Catholic Church teaches, and I think they believe Jesus died for them and he's there, that he saves them and that they don't have to do good works. So I think those people are saved. But if you always
mm,
grew up thinking you needed works to save and that, Jesus is not enough, then I'd say you're not saved.
okay.
And those
As
people need
as
to be evangelized too. That's why we have missionaries and all that. So,
Yes. Yeah, because as my experience, I become Christian at the just year 2006. And what if I didn't travel and then I didn't meet the pastor who is on the plane with me trying to evangelize me. So I met Jesus Christ on the cloud already during that time inside the plane, the domestic flight going to Manila
yeah.
from Davao. So if I'm not, yeah, God have a plan. Each every people that He made, and you know, if you anyway, so that's the testimony of
Yeah, that's your
myself being a
response. Yeah.
Christian. Yeah. So do you think that GS crossless? Simon Natras
It's
question.
GS crosses. Yeah. I mean, my understanding is they don't believe that you have to believe in the cross, that Jesus died on the cross to go to heaven. So if that's what you think crossless means, then yes. Um,
Yeah,
we just have to define our terms. I don't know if they wear that label or what, but from what I've read, you don't need to believe in the cross to be saved, that Jesus died on
yeah,
the
I heard
cross.
that too yeah, from
So,
Bob Wilkins. I'm mentioning the name. Okay. Next is Gulf Side Ministries that we have to decide if we are okay with people having free will and by extension setting up cultures and belief system, and it is possible for people in those cultures to see truth. That's a
yeah, so
statement.
he's responding to some theology's question about um, it being harder to believe based on what religion culture we grew up in.
Oh,
And
okay.
so he's saying, wouldn't it be prudent for God to just only have Christians on the earth, basically? Wouldn't it be easier for more people to get saved if everyone's a Christian? That's where he's going, and this is Gulf Side's response. That yeah,
Okay.
by extension of free will, we have to. That's going to mean that people are going to choose not to be Christian, and you're going to have non-Christians procreating, and it's going to rise to cultures and locational differences, and that's just how God set it up. You know, and we already know what happens to that, the Tower of Babel, and there's a part of that that's going to happen again, and that's why in heaven there's only going to be Christians. So there will be a time when it's like that, but not now.
Okay, and also he said uh, he answers. I
Yes.
answer yes to both, and for the individuals who believes what light they have, despite their culture, I trust God with its them. I trust God will reach them,
Hmm.
but there's not a universal free grace view on this. What he's trying to say?
So he's saying like the conundrum about, well, what about a kid living in a Muslim country? There's no Christians around. There's no one to preach in the gospel. How's he going to get saved?
Hmm.
That question. And so
Oh,
he's saying, well, I believe that if there's a person like that and they're truly seeking God and seeking truth, that God will provide a means for them to hear the gospel. Now some people will think, well, that people think that comes through dreams for a lot of people. A lot of those testimonies. if you don't believe that God does that, then you just trust that God will send a preacher, a King James only door knocking preacher to is you know what I'm saying? Like they're going to hear the gospel some way or another.
Yeah. And yeah, he said exactly.
Yeah, I take the same approach with that. Although I'm more
Oh,
open to the dream testimonies than maybe others are, where people say that they're Muslim and they're Christian because of a dream they had. I don't know.
oh, okay. So as for now, that's the I there's no question right now. So waiting for the for
Yeah, we're all
question,
caught up
but
in the chat.
yeah.
So good job, Janet.
Thank you so much. And this is, it's so I feel nervous this time because I'm representing the Layman Seminary, and then I am, you know. So
Right.
thank
No,
you
it's
so
good.
much for
Yeah, no
being here.
problem. I think Charles' plan is he just wants to have more open, like more open live streams. Like some of the other channels. Like I know Praise,
Yeah.
like he has the opens, but we're trying to add another another free grace live stream for Q&A and just kind of open stuff, because Charles gets so focused on his work with seminary and stuff. But we do want to have opportunities for people to ask questions um, and things like that, and just have fellowship, I guess.
Okay. And I said, and Nunya Bis, I heard you answer my question. So he liked it.
Thanks. Yeah,
He
like
did.
this video, guys, if you can, helps out the channel, and
Yeah.
we appreciate it.
Yeah, and Simon Natra said, do you believe it is necessary to believe in eternal security at some point in order to be truly saved? If Lordship reaches like Jack, what's it? Jack Mac? Uh,
John MacArthur.
okay, sorry. J Mac or John MacArthur, if he never believed in eternal security, then he is unsaved. No one can say that.
Well, I
Only,
think yeah, the question is assurance of the essence of saving faith. I think there's both sides of the aisle in free grace. Some believe yes, some believe no. I think you need to believe, that you need to have a moment of eternal security, that when you believe the gospel, you believe Jesus paid for your sins and you have eternal life. So I'd say one moment of eternal security. You might fall the next day and not think you're eternally secure anymore, but if you believe for a moment that you were, I think you're eternally secure. So no, I don't think you need to believe in I do believe you need to believe it at one point, at some point, in order to be saved. Yeah. But I don't think you need to currently believe it if you believed it in the
mhm,
past.
yeah. So, yeah, this is cool. Really. Okay, Simon Nutter said, great
Oh,
answer,
thanks, Simon.
Mr. Free Grace.
Yeah, good questions. You're asking good questions
Yeah.
in here. Thank you.
Miss, thank you so much for your questions. And yeah, we have 16 people here, and please pin out or write down your thoughts if you have if you have any questions about Free Grace. So, Free Grace people will answer your questions. And for now, we have Free Grace Notes or Brother Taylor to come to answer your questions. But there's many Free Grace, already, know about this kind of, how you say that, category of layman seminary. So, uh, yeah, and we were going to be regularly doing this. We are going to the layman will be update to us of what next to do or when it will the next time. So uh I hope you can understand my English.
Yeah,
Audience,
well, you made sense,
please,
Janet. You're good.
yeah, please be patient. And some theologists said, does Second Chronicles chapter 36 verse 9 indicate a lower age of accountability?
It says he was 8 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. So he's saying, since he was 8 years old when he began to reign, maybe the assumption is that the king, if he's reigning for the Lord, then then he's saved. And so doesn't that mean if he's 8 years old when he starts that, you know, he's accountable at that age? Yeah, maybe. That's interesting. I never thought of that.
Mm. Okay, Simon Natra said, asking you, Brother Taylor, do you have a channel too? Yes, he
Yeah, I
have.
have a channel, Free Grace Notes.
Yeah, will you pin, put in the comment section so that they can go over there?
Yeah. Yeah, I just have a channel. I mainly repost content from other Free Grace teachers, and it's just supposed to be like quick, short notes for people that are new to Free Grace or looking for, kind of it's supposed to be like a commercial for Free Grace teachers that you can go check out and in different sermons you can study more deeply. But I'll
Mm,
pin it. Thank you.
sure. Here we have the Layman Seminary. Thank you for
Oh,
dropping
thanks,
by.
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Just catching up, okay. The Layman Seminary said some theology is a Christian universalist but claims free grace. Okay, now I know. Now I know some theology is universalist. So I'm not free grace. Okay, he claims that he's not free grace. So, oh, thanks, Sister Elizabeth, for for the link. The YouTube channel of Free Grace Notes is on the live chat. You can visit over there and support the but of course the main purpose is to know some doctrines that we have confused to understand.
Hmm.
So all the people in there are free grace, meaning, yeah, as what Brother Taylor said that he, got from the other free grace people. The video are from the other free grace people. So just check. I'm already. Oh, thank you so much, Simon Natras. Yeah, and okay, is this a question? Golf Golf Side Ministry said, "What was your biggest objection you couldn't get past?" What is T? Wo-
He's asking some theology because some theology was saying
Okay.
that he used to be free grace, and so he's asking him why isn't he free
Oh,
grace anymore?
oh, that ST is some theology. Oh, thank you for clarifying. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and some theology. Okay, he's answering over there. He's answering the Golf Side Ministry. So yes. So for now, we are waiting for another question. But guys, make it put down your brain, put down your brain, put down,
Put your brain in the chat,
put your brain in the chat.
and we will question
We,
you.
yeah, yeah, we're going to question you. Brother Taylor or the Fragrance Notes, have limited time. Of course, he have something to do also. So grab the opportunity while he is here to answer your questions. So put your brain, put your thoughts, put your thoughts in the comment section, and also, I hope that other people, other free grace, can come over here who are notified. I think notified from Layman Seminary to come over here to answer questions from the audience. And now we have um, uh, Gulf Side Minister said, so it sounds like Free Grace Alliance for Health for those in the unreached
Yeah,
world bothered
sounds
you?
like it.
Oh yeah. Is that the Free Grace Alliance?
No,
Do
no, no.
you?
He's saying it sounds like free grace's allowance for hell because it sounds like some theologies he doesn't agree with how God chose to evangelize
Oh.
people because it leaves some people like in a bad spot that it's hard for them to get saved. They're in a Muslim country, they're seemingly left alone. So why would God do that? Why wouldn't he make it so
Mhm.
everyone has equal opportunity to get saved? Which I think you could argue people do. It's based on
Mhm.
the light they're given, and we all might be given equal light. So just something to think about for that.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that clarification. And we have John Moore. Hi, welcome. He said, "You can have free grace without regeneration."
Can you
How
have
you?
free grace without regeneration? It depends on what you mean by free grace. I mean, God gives grace to believers and unbelievers freely. So in that sense, yes. Um, Free grace as a soteriology, or I don't, as a doctrine. I mean, yeah, free grace theology covers Old Testament, which is when people. I don't think people were being regenerate in the way that we are now. Then, um, so yeah,
I was sorry. I'm reading Sis Elizabeth's
your
comments.
breakdown sounds charismatic.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not thinking about that. Put your brain sounds. Oh yeah, because when they collapse on the ground, right? Anyway, thank you so much for your comments, Sis Elizabeth. And Simon not just said, "Oops, where is it?" Uh, some fantastic videos, Brother Taylor, on your channel. I love it. Some tops class free grace and this. Yes, yeah. You really love it.
Thanks, Simon. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Glad it's
thank you.
edifying for you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, thank you.
And the Layman Seminary invite Golf side. Do you want the link? He
Oh
want
yeah, hopefully, yeah. Come
Golf.
on in.
Yeah, come on in. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
he's
the
gonna
right
send
word.
it. Okay, cool.
Okay, I can send it to you on WhatsApp. Then what? His response, yeah, I'd love to send it over. I'm listening while I get the kids ready for bed as soon as. Okay, they're
Okay,
oh,
great, cool.
great. And then Brother Simon said, Brother Taylor, who are your closest
To
to theology?
theologically and free grace dispensational. I'd say right now probably Dillo. Um, I like Dillo a lot. When I first came to Free Grace from Lordship, I was reading a lot of Bing, so I was closer to Bing. And then the more I read Dillo, the more I'm getting towards his views on things. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, if you
I
want
would
to
say
ask
closest
me,
to is Jody Dello.
yeah, if you want to ask me also, Simon Natras, even though you are addressing Brother
No,
Taylor,
I'll ask you, Janet. Who are you closest to theologically in the Free Grace dispensational world?
of course, mine is the Layman Seminary because the Layman Seminary have also, he loves Dilo, and there is something in Dilo's belief on James that he is trying to think about it.
Mhm.
He is thinking about it, and I don't want to say anything like negativity. So
No, yeah, no, yeah.
yeah, okay. So
I mean,
yeah,
it's closest to. That doesn't mean we believe,
yes, yeah.
100%. But if you look at my channel, though, I am using my channel to try and get more Dillo stuff out there because I think more people need to hear his views. So we're trying to do that. Charles too. So I'm just trying to
Yeah.
make it a little more bite-sized.
Okay. So okay, so mine is the Layman Seminary or Charles Jennings theology, all theology. And yeah, this is only my about the Layman Seminary. Not that I am his wife, but this is because I know how the layman study the Bible in everything. So he critiques the every books like Dilo, like Ryer's dispensationalism, like that kind of thing. And I heard him telling me the differences. So I like the way the layman done that to me. So I believe that he done that also to those people who close uh, to the Layman Seminary or Charles Jennings. So I invite those people that argue with him, please be close to him so that you can know his theology in every doctrine. not by just grow together in maturity, especially talking about doctrine, which is the most important. So, Gulf Side Ministries, but I'm also enjoying Taylor and Janet get this question. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we will have the Layman Seminary soon when he got home. And also
Yeah,
there's
he
a
just
lot
wanted
of
us to warm up the crowd.
yes.
And for our next act, your main act tonight, we have Charles Jennings. Step right up.
Yeah.
Give a big round of applause.
Yeah, and also we have on Discord people have this link and hoping that they can all now they able to come over here also to answer the question because each thoughts it's not the same. I mean, we have different thoughts, the way we understand things. So, if we have many thoughts, then our thinking will grow on knowledge.
Yeah,
Uh, you
big
know,
brain.
big brain.
Big brain.
Your brain become big brain. You have
Yeah.
many brains in your brains. It's not charismatic, Sis Elizabeth.
Hmm.
So I'm not putting the brain on the chat, but in my brain, all the brains. Okay. I hope everyone, knows what I'm talking about. Okay, just send it. And sir, Simon Atos, yes, please, Janet, but you're not allowed to say Charles. I already said it. Okay, so Sister Elizabeth love being,
Yeah.
and
Love being.
he know, I know she would say Charles. Okay, yeah, you got it. I already said it. It's Charles. Okay, hope you got Chris. Hi, welcome. Christ is the truth. He said, "Hope you guys are doing well. I would appreciate prayers. I'm battling a really nasty flu. Oh, I'm so sorry for that. So, can I have a quick prayer for him, Brother Taylor?
Sure.
Christ is the truth. Father God, you know this person. We don't know his person, and you know his situation, and we don't know his situation. Father God, we lift up him to you. That praying for healing for him. He is battling a flu right now. Please, Lord, heal him and. To your glory, dear God. Lord, thank you so much. And all this, I thank you and pray in Jesus' name,
Mhm.
amen. And Simon Natra said, yes, Charles has a great analytical brain. I can see that in action and look forward to learning more from him too. Thank you so much, Simon Natras. You are appreciative person. How what
You're an appreciative person.
Yeah, appreciative person. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So the Layman Seminary is interacting us with the in on the live chat. He said, "Praying for you." Okay, praying for you, Christ, the truth. Okay, actually, the reason Charles is doing his work, but he is listening to us also. So Christ the truth said, thanks. He's thanking. Oh, welcome. Who's who's who is Justin? Oops, I think I know him. Is just Justin? The Justin?
Yeah, that's Justin. Yeah.
The Justin. the just Justin, you need to believe Jesus. he's he's commenting on Facebook and trying to say something that I don't, it's weird. So anyway, the Lehman Seminary said, "What do you all think about declining my debate with David Preston?" So, what do you think, Brother Taylor, of what Lehman? Did
I
you
think it's fine.
watch that?
Yeah, I've seen the interactions. I think David Preston is just I don't know, he got triggered somehow. He got triggered and he's going on an emotional rant in the comments, and I don't
Mhm.
I don't see any issue with declining the debate. I
Oh,
just yeah.
Okay, and brother, not brother, Sister Elizabeth said, Christ is the truth. God bless you. Okay. And some theologists said the Lehman Seminary, I think it was smart. No one believes that hyper dispensationalism garbage anyway. Oh, what that what what he
Well,
means
he
by
said
that?
he means because David Preston's a hyper dispensationalist, and he's
Ah,
saying it does like it's
that,
good to not debate him because no one believes what he believes anyway. So it's a waste of
yeah,
time. Which I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. There's good point. He brings up good points. I think it could be beneficial, but I see the reason not to. There's definitely something got into David Preston, and he's lashing out. So from a professional standpoint, I can see not wanting to engage
Hmm.
On Charles' side. Well, what do you think, Janet? Because I know you probably had a hand in his decision as his
No,
wife.
I'm just I don't know. I don't get. Meaning I don't want to get his words into my brain.
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
is it
yeah.
always into
Don't
my
want to
brain?
jump in there. No.
I don't want to get to have knowledge from him.
Hmm.
Because I know already.
Oh, from David.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
David Kristen. I know already, so I don't want to learn from him anymore. So I better to stop doing that because it will not you know there it will not encourage me to do more Bible study or to have interesting on his YouTube. No, so I better not to listen if the distraction is in there. So I don't want to listen. But
Right.
I'm listening. Praise I am. It's not. It doesn't mean that praise I am is praise I am is the distraction. I listen. Praise I am because many thoughts. Many people sharing their thoughts over there, and I can
Hmm.
learn something about that. And I love praise I am because of what he's doing. But I'm praying for praise I am that do more on teaching type of thing
Hmm.
rather than many people fighting in his channel, like
Well,
what
that's why I
happened
think we want
before.
to. Right, right. No, I understand. I think that's what we're hoping. This is a more academic approach to what they're doing, and hopefully,
Yeah,
maybe that can rub off or not.
yeah. So that is the reason why we are here, starting like this. So and okay, the Lehman Seminary trying to tell to us that that was Justine, and also
Yeah.
the logo is the bird. So Simon Natras here again. I am very appreciative, not least because where I live here in the dark age of UK, there is very little. Oh, okay, free grace, and I thank God for that you are there, and hopefully many people will come to free grace in that area, Brother Simon Natras. So Justine, you said, I believe in the real Jesus. How do you know that you believe in real Jesus if you are not, if you are contradict the Bible? And Elizabeth said, Charles, I didn't know what happened between you and David. Okay. Justin said, not the fairy tale. How do you know that? You don't know that you are the one who telling us fairy tale? You are the one who's telling us immortal soul, but that's not what we understand the Bible. No, free. My goodness, I don't want. Justin is so weird. That's what he said in Facebook. There's a lot of hyper dispensation. Yeah, the Layman Seminary said we can find another person to debate that. Who is he talking to?
He's talking about David Preston that we
Um,
can the topic can be good, but he wants professional debate so we can find another person who's not going to,
yeah, and
result
David.
to his ways.
Yeah, and I think he said that David Preston is a distraction.
No, you said destruction, and I think he was wondering what you meant by that. You're talking
Oh,
about
okay.
praise, I think.
Okay, 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 okay. Oh,
So
I
he's
like
asking
I like
clarification.
the way you connect the things. Okay, I need to grow in that.
Right. It's okay. Yep. So what did you mean?
Ju-
You said praise destruction.
oh, okay. So no, I'm
Oh, distraction?
not
You said
that
distraction maybe.
distraction, not that Presayam is the distraction. I am not saying that. The people in there are, especially when they are fighting of nonsense thing, you
Hmm.
know.
It
But
can be destructive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's distraction.
or
But
distraction. Okay.
yeah, but Praise I Am channel is he wanted people to share their own belief, you know. That's good, but not come to fight to each other because of that doctrine. Anyway, of the doctrine that they are holding to. Jeremy Frost, what is hyperdispensationalism? Where Christ kidnaps you and forces you into heaven? What can you say about that? What is hyperdispensationalism? Where Christ kidnaps you and forces you into
I'm,
heaven? What
I don't
what
know what he
means it?
means by the kidnapping and forcing you into heaven. To me,
Yeah.
hyper dispensationalism means that you don't believe the church started in Acts 2,
Yeah.
and generally you believe salvation by works in the Old Testament. But
Yeah.
I don't
And
know
all
how that means Christ kidnaps you and forces you to heaven. I don't know what that jump is.
yeah, it's confusing, Jeremy
Hey,
Frost.
Janet, Charles wants
Oh,
you to send the link to WhatsApp, the StreamYard link. Send it to Charles on WhatsApp so he can send it to
this
Chris.
this one? This
Yeah,
one?
yeah,
Okay.
send it to him on WhatsApp.
I'm copying it and pasting to his WhatsApp. Okay, I just did. Hopefully, that is the one that he needed. Oh, because maybe the link he cannot
Yeah,
invite.
he said the other one wasn't working.
Yeah, and and yes, Sis Elizabeth, I love praise too. Golf side ministry, they stay up even later than Charles does. I think. Yeah, talking about praise, right?
Mm.
So, yay! I can connect now. I can connect. And Elizabeth said they are up all night. Yeah. Uh, I don't know when the time they are going to sleep. Just I have been given the faith to believe that. Oh my goodness, Justin, move on. Oops, where is it now? Um. Okay. For respect for Justin, I show the audience your comments. And since Jeremy Frost said, Elizabeth, hey, okay. Sorry. Um, okay, this is the distraction. Distraction. I'm sorry for my wording. Go outside ministry. I sent you message on. Okay, they are trying to get the link. Some theology. Does every knee bowing and every tongue confessing violate our free will if it's done unwillingly? What do you think about that, Brother Taylor?
Does
Oh,
every knee
thank you
bowing and every
so
tongue
much.
confess and validate our free will? Okay.
Welcome, Chris. Oh, he is the golf star. Oh, hi. You are static now, Brother Chris, golf side ministry. So, try say something. Hello. So I think
He's
he's
probably
fixed.
working on his audio. We can't hear you,
Yeah.
Chris. If you're talking, check your mic settings. Make sure you're the right inputs in.
Yeah. Okay. And Jeremy first said, okay, they are. I was being small. Okay. So hi, brother Chris. While waiting other comments to answer, and we are going to wait. Hi, Josh C. Thank you so much for coming in and to join on the chat. Well, some theology, I guess we have some will. Oh, okay, he's answering some theology. Uh, I guess we have some will. Maybe it's semi-free. What do you think of that, Brother Taylor? Just see.
Well, some theology. Well, he's responding to. Um,
Yeah,
The
but do
idea
you agree?
if every knee bows and every tongue confesses, doesn't that mean we lose our free will? Well, I mean, yeah, maybe for a second. What's your point?
Yeah,
I
what's your
mean,
point?
at the end, this is at the end, right? So,
I like that.
what's your point?
I like that phrase. What's your point? Okay, he came
Yeah. So
back.
Josh is saying, yeah, I guess at that
Oops.
second we won't have free will. We'll be bending our knee to Jesus. Okay. I mean, oh, he says,
Uh,
look at Simon's. Pull
Sorry
up
to interrupt.
Simon's
So
comment.
can you hear me now? Did I get in?
Yeah, we can hear you
yes.
now.
Ah, great, fabulous. Thank. I apologize for the audio difficulties. I was on the I was still on the YouTube stream and not over on the StreamYard stream.
Right. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah. hmm Gotcha.
Okay.
How are
So,
you? Good. Good to see you,
Uh,
Chris.
uh, yeah, good man. You guys have been doing a fun. Just I've really enjoyed listening to y'all and just kind of the easy back and forth. Taylor, you have a really nice way of just getting right to the heart of the matter. I really appreciate just how nice and easy it is, man. How y'all doing? Okay this evening?
Yep, we're doing good, especially now that you're here, so you can start
yeah.
taking some questions.
There you
yeah,
go.
you
Because
can
I
share your
get to the
thoughts.
point, but that's only because I want to get off it.
Nah,
Just
you
getting
have to
some.
stick around. That's the rules.
So Charles wants us to
So
look at Simon's content, or can you pull that one up, Janet? It's the
Which
one where
one?
it starts with Janet and Taylor.
Oh, okay. Simon Atras? Okay.
So he says, Janet and Taylor and Chris now, I guess. My Filipino wife, sister, and family are visiting from Texas to the US here in UK shortly. They are
Wow.
Catholic, so what's the best way, if any, to gently introduce them to free grace gospel?
Oh, that's interesting question and love that
Uh,
question.
I mean, the way I do it is, if they're family, they're eventually going to ask, like, so what do you do? What you been doing? And I tell people, like, well, I've been studying free grace theology. And they go, oh, what's that? And then that's how I introduce the gospel. Like, oh, it's this, it's a theology within Christianity, believes this, and once you believe
Mhm.
that, if they're Catholic, they might be curious and they'll ask additional questions, and you just kind of go for there. So that's one way I kind of let them ask me about free grace. um, I also have like some little books, like intro free grace books that I know, like Charlie Binks put out one. They're really small, like maybe 20 pages, and they're just quick. Like it's a quick intro to free grace. So maybe you could check that out too. I can't remember the name of it. Um, you could show them, some of the channels, free grace channels. This one, mine, um,
Mhm.
some little videos. What do you think, Janet? What would you say?
Um, I experienced that with my family, my own family, and they are Catholic, and also oneness, and also SDA. That kind of siblings I have, and I shared about the three P's. That's the layman, the layman, uh, always saying about
Hmm.
how to share the gospel is the three P's, meaning the person of Christ and the promise of Christ and the work of Christ. Oh,
Provision.
to provision, yes, the provision of Christ. So I tell that to them. I'm telling that to them, and if they agree or accept or believe of what I'm saying, then they are saved. Even they are in a Catholic, they're going to Catholic, but they believe what I said, then they are saved. That's not my judgment that they are not saved if after they understand the gospel and then still going to the church and the Catholic. I am not the one who judges them that they are not saved. God is on the process on each every one of us. So I believe even though my siblings we are not we have issues, but I believe God is working on their lives and I trust God for them. I trust them to God that God work on them to to grow in maturity of who Jesus of who Jesus and what Jesus did on for them, their salvation. Because we like when we are child, when we born, we don't know anything and we are growing in knowledge of saying ABCD. Then the same thing in the gospel to those who are not to those unbelievers or or to those people that who are confused of the doctrine of salvation. So we need to, to follow up or grab the opportunity when you talk to them, you know, include God's word and clarify them of what God doing for them, you know. So I'm telling them about the 3P. That's all. That's when I know that I started doing that from then until now.
Sweet. How about you, Chris? People new to free grace, they don't know anything about it. You want to introduce someone, what do you do?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, I love what both of you. I think some basic literature is always really helpful. And then having a good, clear gospel presentation to work from, like the 3Ps that Janet has, really helpful. I guess my piece to add is it would depend on if you are more theologically motivated or inclined or not. There are some people of us who are really deeply studied and we're good at theological arguments and we don't have a problem. However, you get into the conversation, we kind of have the arguments marshaled. And if you're ready to have a deep, detailed conversation with somebody, well, then it really doesn't matter the point where you enter into the conversation because the gospel touches on everything. But most people are not really, they don't have a ton of arguments marshaled. And so what I have trained people in the past to do is take a very testimonial approach. If you believe free grace, pause, forget the arguments for just a second. And this is the former chaplain of me speaking, okay? Just forget the arguments for just a moment and then ask yourself, why am I free grace? I know the theology, like it's because it's true, and the Bible says there is everlasting life, and there's no conditions to guarantee it. But why? So, like, what did it do for you, and what did it do to you, and what, like, for me, and this is probably for most of us, it gives this really deep sense of freedom, and like this weight gets put down, right? And so, something like that. If there's a testimony you can touch on, that's really, I find, where a lot of people connect on a personal level. And then if you have the intellectual, theological arguments, you can back them up. So, for example, to put this very practical, it's easy to bring up church. You can invite them to church. They're visiting, ask them, I hear you're Catholic. Let's tell them, blah, blah, blah. You just get the religious conversation started in any number of ways. And then when you get a chance, you can just tell them about, just tell them your testimony. Tell them, yeah, like I could say something like, man, can I tell you, this is true. Right? When I was 18 years old, man, I can relate. When I was 18 years old, I used to literally cry myself to sleep at night. I was on my knees by my bed sobbing, terrified that I was going to go to hell because I'm looking at my own life and I believe that I'm saved. But then I look at the standards and I realize I don't measure up, and I just can't honestly say. You know how that feels? You just kind of just give people a testimony. Say, you know what got me out of it is just when I just give them the gospel. I came across John 6:47. Have you seen John 6:47 before? And just make it very, very testimonial. And so I just think if you're able to talk to people on the level of your personal story, then there's a personal authority that comes out of it. And what I mean authority there, I mean it connects on a heart level with people. And I think that sometimes when it comes to apologetics, we can get so focused on the arguments that we can sometimes forget that we need to connect with people, as friends, and as family. And this is what it did for me. So I have found that, again, having been a chaplain and having literally sat at the bedside with over 1,000 people as they took their last breaths, I'm telling you that in practice, that's what I found worked, a testimonial approach.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. Thank you. And Germ, oh, I'm sorry. Dali mo siya messaging me yung WhatsApp. It's distracted the mouse. The mouse. It's not the mouse that in the mouse. Sorry. Now, Elizabeth. Okay. Wait. I'm going to pin on what Natra said about where's that? The response. So Simon Natras is great answer, guys. Thank you very much. I like Taylor's idea of sharing what I have been studying, and the three-piece is great to person, provision, promise. Chris, autobiographical is great intro idea. Wow, I summarize our. Yeah, thank you so much, Simon Natras. And uh, I'm going to go back on our question. Okay, that's done. And now, Jeremy Frost, Elizabeth, Evan, okay. And we have Josie, just, okay, he was responding, Justin. Some theologians said, do you believe in Saint Hodges' atonement theory that we no longer have a sin problem? I don't agree. Explain why. Okay, because we already, we, we have this, what should I say? Uh,
Might be a
we can,
slight misrepresentation of what Zane is saying. I think if I can interpret some
mhm.
theology charitably here, when Zane argues, and maybe I know Zane's view better than I do, but as I understand Zane, and I think I get him here, when he was saying is that he is speaking as a universal atonement, not universal salvation, but universal atonement, and that literally that the barrier of sin has been entirely removed. That is the problem that's been removed is the idea that separating us from God for Zane is no longer sin. And so Zane will say, and I agree with this much, that no one goes to hell for their sin. They go to hell because they deny in unbelief, and you get that from the Revelation, Great White Throne Judgments. They go to hell for not being the book of life. I think that Zane might object to characterizing his position as not having a sin problem, because clearly we all still struggle with sin. That's if you, especially if you did
Yeah,
Romans 7 as Paul did. I mean, as Zane did in front of the present Christian experience. And so, how do you overcome the sin in your day to day life? And I think different free grace people answer that slightly differently. So I'm not exactly sure how precisely some theology understands a sin problem, but it feels like he might, maybe I'm misinterpreting some theology. He's suggesting, well, Zane thinks that we don't struggle with sin anymore. If that's what he means, then that's not what Zane was saying. But I
that's
could have
the belief of
misunderstood.
hyper. If I'm sorry for disrupting.
Chris, what do you
Go
think?
ahead.
Because if you said no one goes to hell because of sin, but then they die in unbelief and go to hell, isn't unbelief a sin? So doesn't that negate what you said?
So unbelief is a sin, but according to Zane, and I would agree with this, it's not the sin of unbelief for which you are condemned. It is the effects of the unbelief. Specifically, when you are sin, well, I'm sorry, when you don't believe, you are dead in sin. You don't have eternal life. You've not been regenerated because you're not alive. And so it's an ontological claim. I am not in the book of life. And therefore, when I'm raised from the dead, I'm raised as a dead man.
Got it. Would it be better to say that rather than you go to hell because of sin? What about you go to hell because you don't have eternal life? Is that an appropriate thing to say? Hello?
Hello.
Do we lose
Uh,
Chris?
yeah, maybe his mic or
We lost you, Chris.
yeah. So we were going to what was that? Okay, I'm just going through it. Delimasar said, okay, he is already here. Jer thing Elizabeth Jeremy Elizabeth said, Jeremy, thank you. It sounds really interesting and I would like to see it. So Josie, God bless you. The Lehman Seminary is commenting and what he's trying to tell me, I don't know. And what's your Okay, what's your point? And there's Josh C. Josh C said, it's a semi-free will kind of life, baby. Baby, I want something else. I'm not listening when you say goodbye. What he means by
I think
that?
he's quoting a song. I think he's making a play on a song.
Okay. So some theologists said, does God accept what's that? What's that? Chord
Does
worship?
God accept coerced worship? Because he's really trying to hang his hat on the whole ben. If you, every knee will bow, every tongue will confess, and so he's
Mhm.
saying that's coerced worship. So does God accept that? You know, why
Would you
why is
prefer
he going to
people
make
to
people
worship?
lose their free will and worship him? It's
Mm,
like an attack. So just ignore it.
mm, okay. And
I
again,
mean,
he
I
said,
don't think the point there is to get that he wants everyone to worship him. He's just saying there's going to be a time and you're going to acknowledge, no matter what, you either you're saved or not, people are going to, they're going to acknowledge me. So that doesn't, it's not like a positional type of worship. It's not like that.
and some theologians said it's okay with worship. Why wouldn't he just make compatibilism true and set up compatibilism true and set up a universalism system? What he mean by that? I don't understand. And what is the layman
So
trying to tell
compatible.
me to show? Oh,
Go ahead, Chris. Try and talk.
go ahead.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
I
hear
was
you. Yeah.
gonna yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna touch on the compatibilism. That
Yeah, please.
compatibilism, yeah, compatibilism is a particular approach to the free will determination question. And without doing a whole long lecture on it, determinism, hard determinism, is just the view that there is no free will. So this is what we accuse Calvinists of all the time. It's the idea that God just foreordains everything, and you do it because God said so. Then there's the other extreme, if you will. I don't think it's extreme. It's the right view, libertarian free will, which is just that we God gives us real choice. There is an extreme version of libertarian free will, which is open theism, which is God doesn't even know what we're going to choose. I think that's the extreme. But then libertarian free will is the idea that we actually have God actually gives us real choices. Well, in between libertarian free will and determinism, there's compatibilism. And you have to decide for yourself if this is a meaningful distinction. I'm in the camp that says compatibilism is not a real position. I think it's just a fancy word for determinism. What a compatibilist says is God decides what you will choose, but God makes you freely choose it. And so they have ways within the metaphysics of free will. They say, well, what free will constitutes is you doing what you want to do. Whether you could do anything else is beside the point. And so God makes you want to do this. So because I want to do this, I'm freely choosing it. And so what some theology is asking is, why wouldn't God just set it up so that everybody wants to believe the gospel, and he gives them the sufficient conditions that they all want to believe the gospel? And then what happens is everybody believes the gospel and is determined that they do so, but then they have freely chosen to believe the gospel. And I am just of the view that, as nice as that sounds, I think that it's incoherent, because I don't think that's actually what free will is. It's a philosophical question, and I think that misunderstands what free will is.
It sounds like something that they created after they came to certain theological determinations. Like it seems like it's an argument created to read it back into verses and like what's going on. Is that a
Yeah,
fair
you're right. So
assessment?
it is actually. If you look in the history of philosophy, there have always been strands of determinism in philosophy, and philosophy and theology have developed side by side. And so there were deterministic elements in Augustine, but there were long before Augustine. There's deterministic elements in Plato and Greek philosophy. There were, by the way, there's this myth out there that all the Greek philosophers were determinists because of the beliefs in fates. Greek philosophy was no more monolithic than Christianity is. There were different people who believed different things. But anyway, the point being that, yeah, but this also happened in Jewish philosophy and theology. It happened in Islamic philosophy and theology, and over the course of the Middle Ages, especially, when the argument that really came out of the divine nature. If God knows and causes all things, then how can we have free will? That's how Augustine and the Neoplatonists got to that question. Well, because they wanted to have free will, one of the answers was they read it back and it said, well, maybe we need to redefine freedom to be what we want it, doing what we're desiring to do, and then God just gives us desires. And that has become really a position that's been defended by a lot of Calvinists these days. And it's not a position, again, I just don't think it's the right view, because I think that it's just a way to justify your determinism. I think compatibilists ought to just into their determinism and just bite the bullet. I don't think that because they're using the word free will differently than we are.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you would say if God set it up that way as he's suggesting, then there's no free will, right? It's not libertarian.
Right. That's what I would say. Yeah, I would just deny that compatibilists have a free will at all. So they're just what I would just reduce some theology's question to is, well, you're just saying, why didn't God just determine everyone to be saved? And then we go back to my original answer. The very, very first thing I said when I was in the comments, which is that we have to decide if people have free will. What some theology is basically saying, whether he means this or not, is if free will entails some people can use that to go to hell, then he's going to reject free will. But because he doesn't want to think, but I'm assuming he believes in free will, maybe not. So then what you have to do is you have to just say that there is no hell, so that people can't use their free will to go to hell. But at this point, we're so outside the bounds, really, of free grace theology that I don't know that it's not. I don't think in a debate setting it's a very strong argument against free grace soteriology. You're in some really deep philosophical waters, and I think he's going to have a hard time defending those if he gets into the weeds on at this level. And it's hard. It's not easy stuff.
Speaking of debates, do you have any more coming up, Chris?
I do. I'm going to be debating with Robert Sungenis, who's a Catholic apologist here. And then after that, I think Charles and I are doing another. It's not really a doubleheader. We're one night and another. We're going to be discussing John 15, since that came up in our discussion with Chapa. I'm going to be talking to Turretin Fan, and Charles is going to be talking to Chapa this time.
Great. What's the Robert Sungenis one on? Just free grace versus Catholicism, or?
Yeah, the actual question that we're discussing is is justification by faith alone. So I'm gonna do my normal thing. I have 3 arguments that I think that it is. If someone tells him this in your preview, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna take on his arguments on James 2:24 and then Romans 2 as my opening 6 or 7 minutes, and then I have 2 independent arguments I'm putting forward that justification is by faith alone. One based on John 6:47 and also Romans 3 about faith is a sufficient condition to be saved, which just implies it's sufficient to be justified. Since I would argue everyone who's saved is justified, you can't really. I don't know how you deny that. And then I'm actually gonna. I'm really curious how he's going to respond to my third argument, because it's a bit more aggressive. I'm going to argue that not only is justification by faith alone, but sanctification by faith alone. And if sanctification is by faith, alone, then how much more would justification have to be faith alone since it precedes it? And I think you can make a really clear case out of Galatians 3 that sanctification is by faith alone.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point of our works being tried by fire, right?
Yeah,
I believe that it's what was the source of the works, not just the works themselves, but what was the source. Mm-hmm. And if it's in faith, if it's out of the faith principle, those are rewardable. But
Exactly.
if
So I think
if it's out of deceit and greed and all these sinful motivations, then there's no reward for that, even though outwardly it looked good.
precisely. So it sets a nice little trap up because if he responds that way, which is kind of what he has to do, I'm kind of baiting him into arguing that there are meritorious works and non-meritorious works, and meritorious works come out of faith. And so if faith is the root of rewards, well, look what is the root of, if faith is the root of meritorious works, then what he's going to do is a faith working through love kind of thing. Well, look at the great irony is what I get to actually say is, well, Robert, you actually do believe that justification is by faith alone and sanctification is by faith alone because you're making it all about faith. You just define faith differently than I do. But you still are going to say it's by faith. So the issue is no longer if we're saved by faith alone, because we are. Now the question is, what do we mean by faith? And that's a different discussion. And I'm perfectly willing to have, and I'm on even stronger grounds there because the lexical definition of faith, it just is to believe or trust. You guys come with your this is the argument of lordship salvation all the time. It does not mean allegiance. It does not mean faithfulness. There's a word for faithfulness. So it's by faith. So I think it's a pleasant little argument to make. I'll see how it goes.
And what's the date on that debate?
I want to say it's the 18th. I think I have to check.
All right.
The Standing for Truth channel, but I think it's the 18th, April 18th, I believe. And if anybody's interested in, keep an eye out. I'll make a community post on the Gulf side, but I'm going to have a non-free grace discussion with Chapa on his channel. We're going to try to dual stream it on mine over Molinism. That's a technical issue in theology proper, which I think ultimately will have some implications for free grace theology. I think most people in the free grace world who look at this stuff at all are Molinists, and I'm not. I'm a classical theist, and so I'm for anybody listening to Charles, I'm in the minority on this issue. So you probably should go, oh, why is Chris a heretic on this issue?
Yeah, don't know enough about those topics yet, but
it's okay. I don't want to derail the conversation. It's a hobby horse of mine, so I won't go there.
Well, you're just glad to have another free gracer debating on SFT's channel. So thanks for stepping up in that sense.
Absolutely, I've enjoyed it tremendously. I still watch all of Charles. Charles is really good at and I want to hear some of this. He lied up and tough, but Charles is really good about he responds to everything so quickly and succinctly. It takes me. I'm a little more. Let me gather my thoughts and put a formal argument together. Charles is like machine gun, boom, 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 boom. It's like, wow, man, that's impressive.
Yeah,
that's why he can rap.
He's got a lot under his belt too, so I think you'll get there hopefully over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's smart in that respect.
Thank you so much for saying things about the Lemon Seminary. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still learning from him.
And earlier, a person wanted to come over here, but news unit broadcasting, he want to the link, the open mic. I think he want that, but we are not doing that. That's not this about. We want all free grace to be, the involved free grace need to notify first from the Lemon Seminary. And if you want to come over here and you are free grace, please approach Lemon Seminary that you're going to, to be part of this question and answer to the people who wants to have answer. So you need to have Discord so that because Discord is the source. I mean, the people in Discord are the people who are in here. So, but you can also have link like what Brother Chris is. He is come to this chat, to this live chat, and got the link from the Lemon Seminary. So if you want to come
I'm an
over
old man. I don't know how this Discord stuff works, Janet.
here.
I'm doing good to get on YouTube.
Yeah, I was confused on Discord. The beginning, the day when I installed the app, but Charlie's teaching me about how and what to do. So that's why I am on Discord, and it's so confusing. Discord is so confusing. You need to have this, and able to get in that. How is that in that group? You need to do something. So that makes me confused. So anyway, everything needs to learn and needs to study so that we can learn everything. So new apps need to study and learn, especially, yeah, especially the Bible to those beginners. Anyway, so we have this. Nariman Seminary said, okay. Elizabeth said, hey, Redeem. And Redeem said, okay, Redeem said, good to see you, Elizabeth. Simon Natro said, great answer, guys. Thank you very much. Okay, this is what, okay, I already have this earlier. Oh my goodness, I'm beyond the time. And said, oh, it's about Justin. Oh, by the way, I already block. I already moved Justin to this streaming because he is saying things weird. So, and as Elizabeth said, he heard the roster. Yeah, I just heard now, and please be aware of that. The roster not answering the question to all of you guys. He just want to distract us. So, yeah, be aware of that. And the Lemon Seminary said, uh, Sis Elizabeth talking about what he said. Charles, okay. I wasn't sure. I don't know what he's talking about. And Liliman said, are you supposed to ask question, not make accusation? Who is he referring to? Oh, he's Justin. Okay. Never mind. Some theologists said, he said, we no longer have a sin problem. We have a son problem. What he means by that? A son problem? We have no longer have a sin problem. Maybe we have a sin problem. So no one to say something about that?
I've not heard that. Taylor, have you heard that's a nice way to put it. Is that if he says sun problem, we don't have a sin problem. We have a sun problem. I think that's a nice way to capture Zane's view. Have you heard it put that way before, Taylor?
Yeah, just from Charles, but I think he's reading from him. Yeah, that the issue is not sin, like you were saying, right? The issue is you don't have eternal life that Jesus provides. You don't have his righteousness.
Yeah, that's a nice turn of phrase. I'm not as deep into the actual free grace literature these days as much as I am just in the positions out, but that's a nice turn of phrase. I like that quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, it could go on a shirt. It's catchy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. And I jump into Josh C's comment. The universalist will just say they will eventually believe when every knee is made to bow, and bam, all saved then because all believe now. What he means by
So
that?
post-mortem faith. Post-mortem faith. After they die, they acknowledge Jesus, Philippians 2, and they believe, therefore they're saved after death. That's what it sounds like he's describing.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarification. And the layman said, Janet, make Simon a moderator. Where is Simon? Simon Natras, right? Where is he? Okay, here. How to make it moderator? I don't know how.
It's rewards for good works, right?
How to make? Where? where to? What? What? Where should I go to make him moderator? I don't know how. So please make him moderator when you are coming here soon. I cannot. I don't know how to do it, and you need to teach me first before I able to do it. So, okay, and here we are again, Justin. Anyway, so some theology said, how long does hiding a user last? What he means by that? How long does hiding a user last? I don't know that. Welcome, what's that? Eftera? Josie, hopefully you saw the, okay, I don't want to. Guys, put the question that you wanted the free gracer answer your question. It depends theology. 86K seconds is an option, and what he means by that? And so is 50 seconds. I don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I wasn't following the conversation in the chat. I'm not sure. It sounds like maybe a long answer versus a long belief versus a short. I don't know. Obviously, 86,000 seconds is a long time. 50 seconds is a short time. So I'm not sure what that means.
So any question,
maybe that's
guys?
how long. Maybe that's how long hiding a user lasts. I don't know.
Okay, so Simon Natro said, "Wow, Chris debating what? So who's
Shem
this?
Genis, the guy I'm debating, the guy that
Okay,
I'm debating.
that's no walk in the park. He really tried to play hardball versus Bon Wilkins years ago. Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. He pushed Bob pretty heavily. I think that Bob held his. We're going to have a different format than he and Bob did, and I think that Bob did well. I don't know that Bob didn't have the opportunity that I did. So I've had a chance to listen to he and Bob, right? So I kind of have a sense of where he's coming from. But yeah, I don't want to say it's going to be a walk in the park. I'm not terribly concerned about it.
Okay, Simon Natras is confused. He said, "Wait, is it Chris or Justin, the golf guy? I'm confused. Clarification, please."
Chris is the golf guy. I keep hearing people say that Justin is unstable. I don't make that claim. I'm just saying Chris is me. I'm the golf guy, golf side.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, this is welcome, Golden Rule. How much free will does someone have bound up in deception? Anyone to answer that?
How much free will does someone have bound up in deception? I wish I could hear him clarify the question a little bit, because I'm going to try to answer it as best as I can interpret it. If I am deceived, I think the question would be, if I'm deceived, then am I still free? And the answer to that in a classical sense, again, people are going to answer that differently depending on how they nuance free will. But classically, the argument is actually that you have less freedom when you are deceived. If you're deceived, there's something you have your intellect or your will is not working properly, depending on the source of the deception. You may be deceived just because you literally, physically, you misperceived something. You may be deceived because you chose not to believe something you should have believed. So you may or may not be morally culpable for that deception. In any case, on the classical view, if you are deceived, that limits your free will. But again, the question becomes, it depends on the nature of your deception. Is that deception because you simply have misperceived something, or is it because you're morally culpable for that lack of free will because you put yourself in a situation where you just declined to believe the truth, that sort of thing, right? Not all deception. So you can be morally culpable for some deception, and other deception you're not morally culpable for.
Yeah.
If I lie to my 5-year-old child and my 5-year-old child believes me, is that his fault for believing daddy? Well, of course not. But if the Pharisees refused to believe in Jesus because they loved their own sin, were they responsible for that? Yes, they were responsible for that self-deception.
Yeah.
So the answer is a big, giant, long, but it depends on why you're deceived. But it does limit your free will. Deception limits free will. The question is, how culpable are you? How much responsibility do you carry How many of your own chains did you lock?
Mm. Okay, so now we are going to Josie. Universalism is a speculative doctrine at best, taking some verses from Paul's letters when all mankind is mentioned. They say God forces all men to get saved no matter what. Where is that? If they hate God, so whatever. I don't say that it's forcing something. God
No,
forces
Josh
everyone.
is talking about no. Josh is talking about universalism. That
Oh,
universalism is says that
okay.
God forces all men to
Yeah.
get saved. So yeah, that's part of that. That they see that as a feature, not a bug. They would say, well, if
Mhm.
when everybody sees Jesus, they're going to want to be saved. Well,
Mhm.
that's the speculation. Maybe so, maybe not.
Mm.
That's part of the question, right? And
Yeah.
even if you want to get saved, is the possibility available to you after death?
Mm.
That's the question.
Yeah. So
But
thank you for that. Okay, go ahead, please.
no, it's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. And Sis Elizabeth said, I have, okay, I have Facebook friend that's universalist. Yeah, many on Facebook have that kind of people believe universalism. Um, Redeem, what's rogue molecules? I hope I can say correctly with the name. I had a friend that believes all religion were true. Uh, I I hope. Okay, can you say something about that? Do, what can you say about the people that believes all religions are true?
Well, it's just obviously false. You just have. I've had some people argue that before, and this is where I think just some standard apologetics training helps. If someone says, "I think all religions are true," well, you say, "Well, Christianity as a religion says not all religions are true." So, is Christianity
Mhm.
true? Well, yes, but Christianity says not all religions are true. So that means all
Mhm.
religions are not true. Islam says all religions are not true. And then you have the problem that different religions, so Buddhism denies that there's a God at all. Christianity says there is. The big one, of course, is Christianity says Jesus rose from the dead. Islam says that Jesus didn't even go to the cross, that Judas was put on the cross. And Judaism,
Mhm.
of course, just thinks that, yeah, sure, Jesus died because he was a heretic. So all religions can't be true because all
Mhm.
religions don't make the same claims. So
Yeah.
which claims are true and which claims are false? And then for me, what I do is after all that, I tend to go, great. So now we've had a little academic that doesn't mean anything. Let's talk about the gospel. Is it true? Forget what other religions are true. The Bible says that Jesus physically died on the cross, that Jesus physically rose from the dead 3 days later, that Jesus is God in the flesh, and that if you believe in him, you live forever. Do you believe that? So I just
Mhm.
take it back to the gospel.
Yeah. Oh, welcome, brother Mark. Thank you so much for coming over here. So, how are you? You are muted.
Is
Good.
that your
One moment, I'm
rooster,
gonna cut my
Charles?
audio.
I
Sorry.
mean, Janet?
Yes, that's
The
my
rooster's here.
yeah, the roosters here. Yeah, so I read some
Hey,
comments that
Mark.
my rooster praising Christ. Where is it? I want to post that. So hi, brother Mark. How are you?
He might be like me, having audio problems when I first signed on.
Oh, so anything to say, brother Mark? Is brother Mark talking now? I cannot hear them. I heard him. Okay, so we were going to just see said Romans 3:24 being justified freely, yes, freely by his grace. So
Amen.
anything to add that?
Amen.
Yes.
Just amen. I don't know. I don't, what was, did y'all check the conversation? What's Josh responding to? I'm sure he's responding to something. I just didn't know what he's responding to.
Oh,
Not sure.
I'm way beyond the comments. Mm, wait. Can you say any question or something? My goodness. Bigs up to the rooster. He is conditionalist like me. Jeremy Frost. You heard that now? He agrees with you. He is a conditionalist.
I have the Alice in Chains song stuck in my head now because y'all keep talking about the rooster. If anybody knows that song, you now feel my pain.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mark, are you there? Is your audio not working?
Yeah.
If you're talking, we don't hear you.
I'm having trouble with my audio. Yeah, I'm working on
Oh,
it.
now
though.
we hear you.
There he is.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm still working on my end though. Just a minute.
Okay. So we are talking about the rooster, and Simon Netra said, "Sun, not sin problem."
Originates from Schaefer.
Not sun
Oh, okay.
originated from Schaefer, I believe.
And that's why it's good because Schaefer's awesome. We should read more of Schaefer still. I realize he's old. Man, he's got it.
Yeah.
I know he's a 4-point Calvinist, but he's good. I love Schaefer.
Yeah.
He's
The
still one of my
Schaefer,
go-tos.
yeah, all the people in Schaefer is so awesome. They are so I can't imagine how their brain works out. They are so amazing.
Mhm. That's where Charles is attending, right? Schaefer
Yeah.
Theological. Is that where
Yeah.
he's going?
Yes.
Great school.
Yes. In Schaefer Seminary. So guys, if you want to study the Bible in seminary, Schaefer Seminary is, the one that the
It's a good one.
best for good one, or the best, I think, for free gracer. The Schaefer
Yeah, they're good.
Seminary is our free gracer seminary. Some theologians said it is possible to hold these two views simultaneously. One, I am loved by God, and two, I will be damned when I die. What he means by that? Anything to say
Yes,
about?
you can hold those together. But Taylor, did we lose you, or you still
I'm
here? I
here.
hadn't heard you say anything for a minute. Okay, that's fine. I didn't want to just
Is it possible to hold
take
these
up
two
everything.
views? I am loved by God and I will be damned when I die. I mean, yeah, but I'd say your concept of love is faulty. But
Right.
you can really think God loves you, but have a false idea of love
Exactly.
and be deceived in that sense.
Yeah.
Okay, Brother Mark is coming back. Brother Mark, is your sounds good right now?
Yeah, testing. How do you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you
Yeah,
loud and
it's
clear.
good now. Yeah, clearance.
Yeah.
Gotcha now.
Yeah. Hey everybody. Hey Janet.
Hi,
Hey
Brother
Taylor. Hey
Mark.
Chris.
Hey,
God
hey.
bless everybody.
Yeah, anything you want to say so far about what have been discussed, answering the question?
To be honest with you, I just got out of a Bible study, so I hopped on as soon as I could.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No worries. Tell me,
We
give me
should
a little
always
refresher
be
course.
sorry. Never mind. Let's make a joke. Never mind. It's been a wide-ranging discussion, Mark. We've talked about universalism has come up a bit tonight. I think that's kind of it's kind of come up several times, just because some theologies have some questions in that area.
Oh,
Taylor
was
sin problem versus son problem came up, but that's all
Okay.
having the universalism context. That's kind of been
Okay.
keeps popping up from time to time.
I
Which is a
peeked in there
perfectly fair
earlier and I
question.
saw some theology, and Justin I saw was in there a little bit in the side chat. So I figured you guys might have to deal with some of that universal stuff. Yeah, that's good.
Mhm.
I don't know how much longer you're going to go, but I just, like I said, I hopped on as soon as I got a chance to. So I'm sorry I was late.
No, I think the point is just to kind of hang out and just chat with anybody who has any specific questions, that just to kind of chat for a bit and then just kind of talk amongst ourselves. Charles is just, and he and Janet are just kind of making this space available to some free grace folk like us to answer questions and chat amongst ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Taylor
And
was on first.
Morrison, is that,
Man.
Charles
this
said
is
that
Chris
you're going to
Morrison,
be
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I was just double checking.
Yeah, church will be coming home soon.
Mark, Charles said
And
you'll be here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, running the
Yeah,
show.
whenever I'm not occupied with something, I said I'd be here. Sure.
Awesome.
that's
You won't be
great.
occupied with anything
Yeah.
because nothing's more important than the gospel. You will arrange your schedule accordingly.
Well, it's Bible. It's actually 2 Bible studies.
That's awesome. Good for you, man. That's cool.
What did
Okay.
you guys study? What are you guys studying?
Yeah. So yeah, like I guess it'll be a plug for Discord for all the people. Charles has got a Discord server, so I guess I could plug that. But in another Free Grace Discord server, we studied Ephesians 2, 8 through 10. But tonight we just really focused on 2. Faith.
Nice.
Is it through faith or by faith? Very interesting, right? Is it the Calvinist
nice.
version, or is it? Do we acquire it and it's a act of God? Is it the? Boy, I'm weak on Greek. Maybe one of you guys is stronger on it, but it's in the perfect tense. So the salvation is a complete act of God, but we enter into this by believing or faith. But the faith is not the gift; it's the whole package of salvation. So it was really good.
Right.
Very good study it was. Mm-hmm.
Very
So
good.
everybody out there listening, we have several Discord channels for Free Gracers to fellowship and grow a little deeper, including you, Chris. I don't know if you. I tried to go on Facebook one time and recruit fellow Facebook Free Gracers, and I don't know if people understand the dimension of Discord. It's very useful for various things. One of them would be like a personal server for like a fellowship group if you happen to have a need for something like that. A second would just be a database for your own. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll mention it to Dominic Michelli. He's the young, cool, hip guy. He's not really any younger than us. It's just he's into like the whole. I was saying earlier on, I don't really understand a lot of. I'm doing good to get on YouTube, but I actually would like to learn more about the Discord thing. I know things are happening over there, and Dominic Michelli is pretty good about that. I bet you he would probably be able to get the word out among the Facebook groups because he's really active over there as am I.
Yeah,
so,
actually, Dominic just lives down the road from me. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, does he? Then you know him really well. Then you know what I mean. How is he's acting?
Well, I don't know him personally. He lives about 30 miles from me, but he lives really unless he moved. I'm in Indiana. He's in Indiana, but I know where he lives in Indiana. So unless he moved, I hope I didn't out him. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Indiana's a big state, everybody. You don't know where? Haha.
Doxed. You just doxed him.
No, kind of. Well, half. I partially doxed. I think there's there's a Brazil. There's an Indiana in Brazil. It's a city, so I think that's what I'm talking about.
Well, if that makes you feel better, I'm in Naples, Florida. That's the actual part that I'm in. Naples, Florida. It's a small town, so you can dox me that way. There you go. That's for a few more weeks, a few more months.
But I did try to talk to him briefly about that. The Grace Zone app, when it came up, he did put arenas. He did put Amazing Grace in there. I believe they are in there, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we need to get more of them in there. Charles has got to serve.
Yeah. I'll talk to him. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah, what it's good for is Bible studies, prayer meetings. You could do camera on. I mean, it's a lot like Skype, but then with a really intensive, like what would you call it, Taylor and Janet? You could have channels for every category you could think of, from prayer meetings to just information.
Yeah, it's more organized. You can have separate channels for certain topics, so and then you have general chats for just, hey, how's everyone doing, and then you can take conversations to different channels and talk about deeper things. They have voice chat, video chat, share screen. You can watch things together. You can play games with each other on there.
It's awesome. I mean, it's for a video game. It's a video game platform, but I actually ran a business out of there for a year and a half. I actually used to organize my business. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
Oh, Sean's here from Rev Reads. Hey, Sean. He said, "What are we talking about?"
Oh, Sean, I love Sean. Hey, Sean, love your channel,
Sean is the man.
Love that channel. I tell everybody about it. If you want reviews, he gives the truth, whether it's for Free Grace or against, and if it could be useful or not useful, love it. So yeah, hey Sean.
Yeah, Sean, we're just
So,
having
Sean,
an open
we've
mic
been-
kind of discussion. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Taylor. Go ahead.
I was
You
just
can
saying
review.
we're just
Go ahead.
having an open mic discussion, so not talking about anything in particular, but we have been discussing just answering questions in the chat, and that kind of led us into universalism and some other topics. But yeah, just something I think Charles is trying to run more often on this channel, so that we can have just more open live streams rather than focused discussion.
And Danny here too. what's up, Danny?
C4C, welcome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I couldn't go back.
Let me ask
I
y'all.
got you.
Listen, listen. Seeing Sean and Danny reminds me. Have y'all all gotten? Are y'all aware of Lazar's 5 Points of Grace book that just got released? I think he's there yesterday.
Oh no. I love his book on Chosen to Serve though. But yeah, interesting.
Hey, one of you guys, Danny or Sean, would y'all drop that link in the chat? Everybody needs to get that book. It's only 80 pages and it's free right now. I don't know if it's going to stay that way forever, but it's free right now.
Janet, do we have time to throw them a link to have them come on and say hi or no, if they're willing?
I think you have their contact. I cannot pin the link on open mic.
Oh, you can't.
Yeah, Sean, I know you're aware.
But if you
Yeah,
have
Sean, I know you are aware.
Yeah, no, Sean Lazar is Rev Reads. This is his tag.
Right.
And yes, Simon Lotus, that's Daniel's new book that's out. C4C Apologetics has a book out. It's Lotus.
Did you say
that's his
Sean
acronym.
Wilson or Lazar?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confusing them. No, Sean Lazar is not in the chat.
Right. Sean Wilson
Lazar.
from Rev Reads. Right.
Sorry, sorry, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lazar is not in the chat. This is a different Sean,
Yeah.
but still.
But
full
he
free
does
grace.
good. He does good review of Sean's books though. Excellent job,
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah, check out Rev Reads. He does book reviews. Good stuff.
This is so cool. We have Chris, Sean, and Daniel here. This is awesome.
Yeah, but did he post the link? But anyway, I was saying the Lotus book is out now. It's his acronym for free grace. So check it out. It's on Amazon. I think let me see what it's called exactly.
There it is. Janet, if you look, Danny posted C4C, the freegrace.in, the 5 Points of Grace. That's the link to Sean Lazar's book. And yes, I know that Sean Wilson and Danny both know about it. So
Where is that?
yeah, it's in the main chat, just under Josie's. Hi, hand wave, and hi to you, Josie.
Hey, Josie.
C4C Apologetics gives the link to Sean Lazar's book. The 5 Points of Free Grace is the name of the book. So you guys
Awesome. I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, y'all. Yeah, strong recommend.
Yeah. So he did a book review. I'm assuming he already did a book review on it. Is that correct? Sean, if you did a book review on that, on Sean Lazar's book?
I don't know if you guys are not.
I'm subscribed to him, so I usually get notified, but sometimes it gets glitchy, to be honest.
Listen, it just came out, so I suspect unless he pre-read the content, he might have.
Right.
But when you're a big important reviewer like Wilson is, you get everything in advance.
He's near and dear to my heart because he's free grace. So there you go.
Amen. That's the important thing.
Yep.
Rev Reads, there you go.
That reminds me of people out there. If you guys run into a guy named called Warren, he's been on the circuit for a few years now. He used to be a Calvinist. Now he's, I guess I don't want to say he's an Arminian, but I believe he believes in dynamic omniscience. So he's more towards that open theist category. He goes by Idol Killer, Warren McGrew.
I know him.
Anybody?
Yeah.
He seems like a lovely gentleman. I would love to talk to him sometime on this channel. I know right now he's a conditionalist, but he seems like a sincere, genuine person. I would If anybody knows that guy, let him know that Layman's Seminary, some people on there would love to talk to him and dialogue with him sometime.
I would be open to listening to some of y'all have a conversation with him. He would be an interesting conversation to have. He is really closely associated with the provisionalist movement in general. Drew over the perspective.
Yes.
So if somebody knows connections with them, that'd be the way to do it.
Yeah, through all those got provisionalist perspective. What is it? Leighton Flowers and Drew. Yeah, I forget the other guy that used to write.
Yeah, that would be. That would be a way to do that. Danny was asking a minute ago how we foster community, and I think that a conversation. This is actually a good one to have because. So I'll use me as an example. I would have a lot of trouble connecting with Idol Killer because my starting points are really, really different on what it means for God to be God. But the gospel, if we could have a conversation on just the gospel about free grace, I think there's a unity that's possible in soteriology that we can then work through some of the other differences, be they theological differences, and I mean that theology proper, or be they pneumatological differences. Like I don't know, we're so years may disagree on this. I'm really okay with charismatic free gracers. That doesn't bother me. Yeah, we have a different view on the Holy Spirit, but look, if you've got the gospel right, I'm going to go shoulder to shoulder with you on this stuff.
Yeah. I would say Warren would be somebody that I want to talk to soteriologically first, and leave everything else for secondary issues.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. The starting point would be quite different, I suppose, on God's.
Yeah, but in general, I think the question, the frustrating thing is if this is the right overall view, and I know a lot of people in here share because I've talked to you individually. If the gospel is the foundation, then the problem is we have a fractured free grace community, and that's fine. It's fine as if it's real. May as well accept it. I mean, Charles has been talking about free grace wars. They've started. They've been going on for 20 years. Just now they're picking up in the Discord server community, and so it's a bit frustrating to me. But at the same time, that's probably a good thing because those of us, we can defend our positions, right? But then the question is, and this is where Dominic Matelli's heart was, and is who I mentioned earlier. Are we willing to put aside some of those differences and just work together on a common ground of what is at least a ministerial basis to move forward in the gospel? Because there are some people in the free grace community who are not. And to those people, what do you do with that? My response is to shrug your shoulders, love them as much as you can, and go on and do ministry.
Yeah, flexible free grace versus focus. That's a tough one. The way that the lines have been drawn in the sand, correct? But I'm one of those people that says let's have some in-house debates amongst each other, if nothing else. Be friendly about it, and then go to the world with the gospel. But it appears that division is becoming significant, and even the mechanics of the gospel are being affected by it. So yeah, it is both quizzical and frustrating.
There is in computer coding and probably other things as well. There's you have a black box, which is the black box illustration is kind of like from a microwave. I don't know how I can tell you personally. I don't know how a microwave works. Some of y'all might. I don't, but I do know this. If I put my hot dog in and I close it and I push add 30 seconds, 30 seconds later it comes out nice and hot and I can eat it, right? And so the point is, I don't know how the machine works inside the box, but I know how to operate it. And that's a really beautiful analogy for soteriology, because I may not know or may disagree with people on how the internals of soteriology are plumbed. But the question is, can we agree on how you quote unquote use, how you interface with the gospel? And here, what all free grace people ought to be able to, or at least agree to, is just preach the gospel. And questions like what's necessary, what's not, I don't even think we have to get into that. Just preach. We all, for example, to get into the flexible focus free grace, stuff, just preach what Jesus did. The 3 P's Charles mentioned earlier, Janet mentioned earlier, right? The person, the provision, and the promise. Preach them all. That Christ died on the sins for your cross, that you know, he to give eternal life, and you're trusting him for all of that. And I don't. Then you don't have to. That's what the disciples preach, and so it's a very pragmatic way to move forward. And then you can, okay, we can plumb that differently, but I think there's unity in the method, in the mechanics at that point.
Yeah. I've actually been one that's kind of taken the middle ground and said, look, whatever side of this you fall on, here's the litmus test. The person in front of you, do they believe or don't they believe? Why don't you believe? Ask them the question. Then they will tell you, this is why I don't believe. And then you just fill in the blank. So yeah, the person, the provision, the promise. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, I don't believe Jesus, because how could he be God? Well, if that's stopping you from believing, let's talk about it. So everybody has their own built-in veil and litmus test, and they are the ones that will. And the funny thing about that is God gave them the ability to tell you why they don't believe, and that's the wonderful and fascinating thing about it. So let's just talk to them plainly. Person, provision, promise, and then what else? What's stopping you? Is that enough? Do you need more? Let's go. So I always say it's right there in front of you.
Hey guys, I gotta head it out. So, thanks for the discussion.
Thanks for the long shift, Taylor. You punched in early. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys, and look forward to the next live stream. Thanks, Janet, for starting us off too.
It's appreciate. I hope Layman will come over here now. And
so Janet, I got a question.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh my goodness.
So
I need to prepare myself.
Is the idea go ahead?
No, I mean, should I prepare myself to answer your question? What did your question?
Oh, it's just a simple question. So is the idea that each night during the week Charles will join you here, or will you close before he comes home from work? Like, is he meant to join every single time, or not necessarily?
We are not talking that right before that, because we just scheduled this morning when I wake up, but he think about this even before, and he notified me this morning when I wake up, and I called him, and then he said that okay, maybe we were doing that what you are suggesting, and then so we are now. So we are going to be organize things for later on, or maybe later when he come in, or whatever he wants to do, talk on schedule or whatever, so that it will not conflict to the other people who have like you, Brother Mark, you have a Bible study. So we may organize these things later on. And
very good, very good. So as usual, Charles is he's no waster of time. He put his forward, no hesitation. Awesome. That's Charles.
Yeah. Because he think that to have unity with the all free gracer, to answer the questions to those who are not free grace, so that free gracer will come together to face all these people that saying bad things to the free grace people, free gracer.
Yeah. So Chris and Taylor and yourself, you guys handled many questions before I got here. I assume you had a lot that you dealt with.
Yeah, and Taylor is the first thing that come in, and he's the one who deals with the question.
He fielded a lot in pretty rapid succession. He was like boom, 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 boom. He was really good answers early on.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Chris, that's one thing that's awesome about Discord is that Taylor is a really organized guy. So I even have done the same thing. You get on Discord and you just create an account. A couple clicks of a button, boom, you have your own server now, right? You can let no one else in, and it becomes your personal database. So it would be like having a file on your computer or something like that, or having a blog or something. But it's just, you could have so much data on there, and it's like video or text, and then you could categorize it in different categories.
I will look into it. Like I said, I have a Discord account insofar as I've logged on before, because I had it a long time ago, but I haven't logged on in years. Let me interrupt. I just looked at my phone. My phone is at 1%. It's going to knock me off here any second. So I didn't even notice that my phone was.
Yeah. Thanks for being on here and helping,
So,
Chris. I appreciate it.
yeah, listen, my pleasure. I wish I could say more, and I love to hang out. I love to just talk to you guys. Y'all are a lot of fun. I see the continuing conversation about unity in the chat. Y'all figure that out and let me know what the solution is, because I think we should all be united in Christ.
All right. God
That's
bless.
Corinthians. Listen, my thought is First Corinthians 1-3. Y'all figure that out. I'll talk to y'all later. Okay.
All right. God bless.
God bless. Bye.
Okay, God bless. Thank you so much, Chris. And now Lemon Seminar will come join tonight. So maybe he just come home and at this moment. So we are waiting for him.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, he said that he will not. I will not do the writing paper stream. I'll join for a short time. Okay. We are waiting for you, the Lemon Seminary, to answer those questions who are in the chat.
Yeah. In the meantime, if there's any questions, I'll take a stab at whatever's available.
Yeah, I will. Okay, Rev strive for unity. Okay, he's responding to Dan to C4C. And anyway, thank you so much, Taylor, for come over here. So good night, C4C, and
God bless, Daniel.
God bless. And okay, the Lemon Seminary. Guys, put your questions in the chat, and we will try to answer. Brother Mark is going to answer the questions.
I'll do my best. I told Charles I'd be available, so yeah.
Yeah, he's.
I can tell you why we're waiting. One thing that's been bothering me, Janet, is an analogy that a lot of people use for salvation about if you love Jesus, and then fill in the blank, you'll do this. And a lot of them use a marriage analogy. I was talking to Charles about that, I don't know, like a week ago or something like that. I've been thinking about that for years, actually. And one thing that bothered me about the marriage analogy is that it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. In other words, a husband and wife are mutually equal, right? In their relationship, they're both humans made after the image of God. And it's a give and take relationship, even though it should be sacrificial and love should be, like 1 Corinthians 13, it should be all consuming. If we were perfect like God, we would love our spouse perfectly, and vice versa. They would love us back. And yeah, of course, when you have children, a friend, grandparents, parents, husband and wife, if you love them, yeah, generally speaking, that you're going to want the best for them and all that kind of stuff. And so I noticed a lot of people in conditional salvation often look at their relationship with Jesus like that, their condition, their position. And one thing I would like to clarify is that in no way relates to God, who is, everything. He is the foundation of our truths. He's the foundation of our moral fabric, everything. So he's not like a person that we can be equal with God. Yeah, we can have a relationship with God, but like your wife or your children or your cat or your dog, you can get down to their level and love them and play around with them and spend time with your cat, your dog, spend time with your wife, your kids. But at the end of the day, you can walk away and still be you. So you can have all of whatever you consider to be your personal desires and interests and all that, and they may or may not be godly. But with God, he explores every aspect of your life. He looks in your closet. He looks under your bed. He knows your thoughts inside and out. And as a loving father, he's always challenging us to grow closer and closer to him and in our experience, as Charles puts it. So the analogy breaks down in that your wife or your child or your parents, when you love them, they don't have a moral foundation that you run into that affects every thought that you have. For God, he's so loving and patient with us, Janet, that he develops us and grows us over time. He doesn't just throw all of our faults at us in our experience, how we could serve him here or how we resist him here, or here we do well, this area we don't want him to look in our little secret closet, or with our things that he may want us to give up. And that's not usually how a marriage goes. It's not all encompassing. Your wife says to her husband. You can have your freedom, do whatever you want to
Yeah.
do as long as you spend time. But with God, He's working on all those points in our life, and so it becomes very intimate and it becomes very personal. And a lot of times, for when we're in our flesh, very annoying. So
Yeah. So
I just think the analogy that if you go ahead.
yeah, I think the marriage analogy is just for us to, to have this human mind to grasp the relationship between God and man. Even though we are not this, we are men and God is God, and the marriage illustration is being one with God. That's my my understanding why the Bible illustrates the marriage thing of submitting to each other, so that we can understand how we were going to have relationship with God, as a relationship with husband and wife to be one. You can see everything of your husband's thoughts, the way he talk, and this vice versa, so you can have this sense of understanding with your husband, while when your husband trying to say something, then you can know him, not right away, but uh, on the process of what he's telling me. I'm representing myself now. Telling me, I cannot grasp on the spot what he's trying to tell me, but on the way process, I will know. I can know what he meant by that. So I think that's also the same things with our relationship with God. To know God more, that's why in the Bible we, have that marriage, husband and wife is one body. So we also have one body in Christ. So when we are have our relationship with the husband and wife have a relationship, the same thing as we have a relationship with Christ, because Christ is the bride, right? And Christ is the groom and we are the bride. So the same thing as the marriage, as is the marriage, and illustration is to know Christ as we know our husbands and wife. That's my own
No,
understanding
yeah.
of my marriage
And
illustrated there.
I agree with that, and that's what the scriptures are saying. But my point was to expound on that and to not make it into something that, because remember that analogy is that He wants to present us to Him as a spotless. So that
Yeah.
means our behavior does affect how our experience is lived out. And so, yeah, Jesus is going to call us to the greatest intimacy that we can imagine. But also, like Jesus said, that because of the hardness of your hearts, He gave Moses the right to give certificates of divorce. Why?
Mhm.
Because they weren't treating their wives like they should. So the analogy is God
Yeah,
has a perfect. Go ahead.
but he didn't condone it.
Yeah, but he did that to protect the women, right? So God
Mm.
didn't want them to do that, but the certificate of divorce was given to protect the women so they could have a future life without them with the men making accusations against women and throwing them out for various reasons that were not legitimate. The women were left defenseless and without hope for a future means of income, being able to take care of themselves. And so the certificate of divorce allowed them to move on. Does that make sense?
Hey guys, can y'all hear me?
Hi, welcome,
Yeah.
Lyman.
Hey,
Thank
y'all
you
don't
so
have
Hey,
much.
Charles.
y'all don't have the ducks on.
What's the dots on?
The ducks, the feeding the ducks, the beat.
Oh,
Oh,
the background
we don't
music.
know that. I don't know that. You have in your computer, so we
No, Mark, before we start interacting about questions and stuff, let me make it clear. I'm not going to do the 9:30 stream. I'm writing a paper. I'm going to do that behind the scenes. I need to do some stuff. That way I can, hopefully tomorrow I can have something to show y'all.
Okay.
But I want to
no
take
problem.
this time to answer the questions, interact. I'm thankful for my
Yeah.
wife wanting this. Other people wanted this to happen too. And but it was my wife's voice that really got me thinking about this. So I really appreciate that. Um So let me share my screen. And thank you, Taylor, for what you did. Thank you, Chris, for coming in. Thank you, Mark, also. And, you know, anybody that's free grace that we know, they're welcome to come in and answer questions.
You know, I asked Janet earlier about, you know, Sean Wilson was here, Rev Reeds.
Yeah,
I
Rev
don't know.
was here. C4C
Yeah.
was there. I got a lot
Yeah,
of
I think.
connects, but it's just I needed to build my channel first, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go around asking people, but if they say, "Hey, I'm interested in this," or if they know me, like for example, Paul Miles would probably love to jump on this.
Oh yeah.
You know, even though he was doing International Society of Biblical Hermeneutics today. So there's a lot of different people that I know or know of or have a loose relationship with. I'm not going to go around asking people to come, but
yeah.
you never know. Andy Woods may be here one day, or you know,
Right.
no telling.
So I was asking Janet if it be that let's say we have somebody like Sean Wilson or Daniel from C4C come in, is there a way to actually invite them onto the panel if it would be fitting?
Well, that's what I want, and but the thing is that we sent the link to Chris on WhatsApp. So what?
Oh, okay.
I think I'm connected with Sean on Twitter. So I'm connected with Rev Reeds on Twitter, and C4C. I got him on several different ways. You know, we could connect.
Okay, so you wouldn't want us to put like a link to come on directly. You'd want to do a private link. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's going to be a different link every time. It's going to be a different StreamYard link.
Mm-hmm. But like while we're running live, are we able to paste that for at least a moment for them to come on? Or
No.
Oh, I see.
No. We'll do that back channel stuff.
I got you.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to come on so I could say hi, but I got.
Yeah, no, I want them to come on too. It just they were all watching hockey. It looked like. So I'm glad they were in the chat. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the marriage stuff before we get into answering the questions. Janet, can you remove
that was something...
Simon's comment just so we can have more room?
That was something I told Janet that I've been talking to you about, and so until we had questions, I was just going to start with that analogy and show why it's both good and bad. It's both good and bad.
Right. Yeah. And so this is my issue with the marriage thing. If we draw a chart, right? If we use our 3-column chart, we got a problem. We actually would have to use a 4-column chart because we have, let's see, one more. Hey, my screen went off. Come back, screen. Okay. So this one would be our preparatory stage, our pre-positional. This would be positional, experience, and ultimate, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if we were to make a comparison of a marriage, what people do is they want to say, well, at the moment you say I do, that represents position. Okay? Because that does happen in a point in time. Right. The issue with it, though, is that most people don't say, hey, nice to meet you, let's get married. And even then, there's a process. So there's a preparatory process. And so the thing is that if you're going to talk about a preparatory process in this analogy, this would be pre-evangelism. You know, things leading up to you believing the gospel. The problem with the word marriage, using marriage, while it does happen in a point in time, and while it does indicate relationship, it often indicates commitment. And salvation is not by commitment. So that's the problem. And I put my dot in the wrong place, I think. But regardless, y'all get my point, right?
Yeah, and I was talking more about the experience aspect, from
Right.
from position to ultimate. But your point, backing up and starting there, is actually better for clarification because we're
Yeah,
starting
because
off on the wrong leg. Yeah,
right, yeah, we're confusing the term commitment. And see, the thing is, there's a psychologist named Steinberg, and he had what was called Steinberg's triangle, and then there's variations of it, but if I remember it, it's commitment, passion, and intimacy. See, some relationships, some marriages, I mean, they use this for other relationships too, but some relationships are committed, right? They believe that marriage is until the grave, but there is no passion or no intimacy, or not that much, right? Others
right.
may be passionate, but there is no commitment. And then there's others that may be passionate and intimate, but no commitment. So, you get the idea. And so what you see is that depending on how you draw the triangle, it's going to show what aspect of the relationship is being emphasized, and all that. So this is good, though, to describe experiential dynamics. It's not good to describe positional dynamics because salvation is not based on a commitment. So just like you were saying, Mark, if you're going to use marriage, then what you're talking about is that at the moment of salvation, not because it's a commitment, but you're placed into union. Okay?
Mhm.
But the passion, intimacy, commitment aspect varies experientially. It should be a broken lot because you're in and out
This
of
is, and you know what?
fellowship.
Is it is it is
Good.
it 2 Timothy 2:20? If we remain faithful, or how's that go?
Uh,
Uh,
if we're faithless, he remains faithful.
yeah, that little triangle you drew, that goes perfect with that because in the end, it's always the position of God that
Well,
remains faithful.
that was passion, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
passion. Yeah,
So I mean, yeah. I understand what people do, but the problem is that in a marriage, if you use a marriage relationship, if you try to say salvation is like a marriage, then what you do is it opens the door for the conditional securities to say, okay, well, you can get
yep,
divorced.
right.
Now you can say God hates divorce. You can say that, and you can say God will never divorce you. But then they'll say, well, he will divorce Israel. But then you got to explain that when it talks about divorce in the Old Testament, it's talking about the Mosaic covenant. They violated the Mosaic covenant. And when they're talking about the marriage imagery in the New Testament with the church, it's a purity imagery. So if we go to
What
let me
Janet
see
was
here.
talking about, the bride, yeah, and the imagery,
Yes.
and I did say,
Yes.
well, that's experiential because he wants to present us not
Yes.
ashamed and faithful, right?
Yeah. I think is it 2 Corinthians, is it 2 Corinthians 11? Yeah. I wish that you would bear with me in a little foolishness, but indeed you're bearing with me. For I'm jealous for you with a godly jealousy, for I betrothed you to one husband. So this is Paul, the best man. So that, or maybe father of the bride, but I think best man's better imagery. So that to Christ I might present you as a pure virgin. But I'm afraid that as the serpent deceived Eve by his craftiness, your minds would be led astray from the simplicity and purity of devotion to Christ. And so what you're seeing here is that he's describing a situation before marriage, right? For I betrothed you to one husband. Now, in the Jewish culture, if God betroths you, it can't be reversed, right? But what can be reversed is the experience, or what can be cheapened, I guess you could say, is that's the purity issue. And this passage right here,
Still hear me?
yeah, go ahead, Mark.
So if you can still hear, I think you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. There was something that changed in the setting, but anyways, yeah, you brought up a really interesting point. Is that the analogy also breaks in that we are not united to Christ until we die in this life.
Well, no, there's other passages that say we're united, but I
Well,
wouldn't
no,
use
okay,
it
well,
as the
yeah,
marriage imagery. We're not
yeah.
united in matrimony,
Yeah,
but we are betrothed.
well, let me rephrase it. The imagery that you just talked about is betrothal, and when he comes back for his bride, yeah, there's a completion there. But there's also verses that talk about we're seated with him in the heavenlies and all that too. So
Mhm.
I think we need to separate those things.
Yeah, so right here, Colossians 1:22, the passage I just read, this unlocks this passage because people have problems with this passage. It says, and although you were formerly alienated and hostile in your mind, engaged in evil deeds, yet he has now reconciled you in his fleshly body through death, in order to present you before him holy and blameless and beyond reproach. And then it says, if indeed you continue in the faith, firmly established and steadfast, and not moved away from the hope of the gospel that you have heard, which is proclaimed in all creation in heaven, to which I, Paul, was made a minister. So you're not going to be presented holy and blameless if you don't continue in the faith, firmly established. There's a couple places where these words all pile up each other. I can't remember them all right now. Yeah, this a lot of people think this is talking about loss of salvation. But to get back to what we're saying, yeah, if you use the marriage thing, you better be prepared when somebody's going to say, "Well, in a marriage, you could divorce, you could separate, you can do this or you could do that," and it puts things in a wrong perspective. Let me tell you why. Because at the moment of salvation, you make a decision that has irreversible consequences. Now, free will people don't like that because they're like, I want to be able to fall out of Christ. I want to be able to take my salvation back. Well, the thing is that you've been transferred into the eternal realm and you can't reverse that. And if you did try to reverse it, guess what you would be doing? You're operating from the temporal realm. And what's done in time can't reverse what's done in eternity. So, you remind them that there are some choices that have irreversible consequences. You can only be a virgin once. Suicide is irreversible.
And you've heard me say this before, and God is the ultimate rescuer. In other words, when we believed, we were transferred out of darkness. He died for us when we were sinners. We were transferred out of darkness into the kingdom of light when we believed on him. And it's something he did for us, because what is the pivotal, to me, the pivotal point of your life is when you go from unbelief to belief, right? And so if God is a God of his character and word, and the only way to rescue us, what's that?
To be clear, we need to say from never belief to belief.
Yeah, right. Never belief to belief, to clarify the free grace language so we don't get confused with the condition. When we transfer into that, the Bible makes it clear that's all we're really capable of doing is thinking clearly at one point with God's help and grace through the gospel and preparatory, pre-evangelism to leading to evangelism. And the moment we believe is the pinnacle of our life. Everything after that is in family. So who you were born as will become no greater event than that one moment that you believed. So now we're going to have God 5 years later, 6 years later, or 20 years later, 70 years later, when you could, stop thinking incorrectly, not walk according to the Spirit, have a tragedy in your family, whatever. And now you're going to think less clear to whatever extent that the conditionalists want to argue. And now God's not going to honor you. That's absolutely ridiculous, because the point of the Bible was that we could never help ourselves anyways out of this condition. So God honors the point of contact with him forever.
Yes. And I want to mention this real quick, because sometimes the Calvinists will use this argument, and I used to use this argument. When you talk about redemption, right? You're bought from the slave market of sin. And the whole thing about in redemption, the problem with the metaphor of redemption is, do you have a choice in redemption? Do you,
Well,
Mark?
the positional act is of God.
Well, yeah, God does it, but that's what I'm trying to say. That's where the illustration breaks down. But what people would do is they'll say this, that God redeems you, and you had no choice in that because you were a slave to sin, and he just makes you a slave of him. That's why MacArthur wrote the book Slave or Doulos. They always want to emphasize that and everything. But the thing is, though, is that all metaphors break down. Because we know from other metaphors that we're not just talking about a slavery imagery. And so we have to be very careful about not pushing one metaphor over another, you know?
Yeah.
And,
And discipleship is different than being saved. It's two different things. It's
right.
which they don't think it is. But if they
Yeah.
did realize that, that's where the father, because when people use father imagery, my father will never let me down. My father will never let me go. My husband and wife, they can get divorced. But I always like to
Yeah.
say position is fatherly. Relationship is discipleship. That's how I looked at it. Discipleship can be tough. Family life, you're in no matter how difficult or simple it can be.
Right. And I run everything through the chart. So I could talk about positional discipleship, experiential discipleship, and ultimate discipleship.
Oh, like being
Positional
sanctified, fully set apart for God's ministry, right? Like we're fully set apart to do what He wants, right?
Yeah, but my screen keeps blanking on me. I hope. All right. So the thing is that positional discipleship, though, is who's got the main role in it. You are receiving. So what are you receiving? You're believing the gospel. So that's evangelistic. So if you want to make a discipleship part of salvation, only part it could play in is you passively listening and believing the gospel. And then everything else that we typically call discipleship would go here. And then ultimate would be in the kingdom being taught by Christ or something.
Right. And given the privilege of coming to the throne, confessing, talking to God plainly, all those things are given to you at the moment of position. So you have the tools. It really comes down to, like we always talk about, what does it mean to be born again?
My monitor is glitching, but I want to look at. Is there any comments?
Yeah, Janet, any questions? Because we kind of went off in the marriage analogy until we had questions.
She's feeding the cats. What is conditionalism? I don't know why my monitor is blinking like this.
And Charles, just so you know, I'm not able to see the chat. I'm only backstage on my phone.
Okay, well, my monitor's blinking in and off. I can handle it, but I don't know why, Mark, it does this on this computer sometimes, every once in a while. But I just updated my drivers, so that might have been what it was. But anyway, the question, what is conditionalism? Two ways you can look at conditionalism. Anyone that believes you can lose salvation, they're conditionalists. Another way to look at conditionalism is that anybody that believes in annihilationism is a conditionalist. All right. And then Smith next. Can God save someone that never believed? No. How do you explain Romans 3 about God saving unbelievers? What makes you think Romans 3 is about unbelievers?
Well, I mean, tangent, Anabaptists believe, I've heard Anabaptists believe that you can never even hear the gospel, but you go to heaven or you enter the kingdom because you were elect. So I know that belief exists.
Right. All right. So this is what he's talking about. Let me share my screen. Romans 3:3. This is talking about Israel. What then? If some did not believe, their unbelief will not nullify the faithfulness of God, will it? May never be. I would actually let me check the Greek. But if I remember right, let's see, where's unbelief? 3:3. Tegar episteson tines mete epistia autante piston tatheu kater gese. All right, so right there, you see that, Mark? Apista.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
So
Let me try
you
to
know,
look at-
pistis is your word for faith, but it's got the alpha privative before it, right? But the thing is, so this is a nominative, but here's the question: is this a noun or is this an adjective? And if it's a noun, can you still describe a concept like unfaithfulness as a noun? You know, this. So here's my point: the way that they're being unfaithful is by not believing. So right here in 3:3, what then if some did not believe? Some of what? Some of Israel. Because the promise is all Israel will be saved eventually, but that's referring to a remnant. What then if some
Yeah.
did not believe? Some of the nation. Their unbelief will not nullify the faithfulness of God, will it be? And so rather not. No. So yeah. So Smith Nicks, I'm a dispensationalist. And so I take that as referring to Israel. So it's not saying God's saving unbelievers. All right. And don't be surprised if Justin don't come in here pretending to be somebody else. I mean, we blocked him on every account that he came up to. But if you start seeing, I know some theology is universalist, but if we start seeing a flooding in of universalists going on here, one of them is probably Justin, or Justin is probably sending them this way. Okay. Some theology is a moderator. He's always been respectful on the channel. He's never pushed the boundaries. And as long as he remains that way, he can stick around. You know, you don't have to be free grace to have a wrench. Be a moderator. So what does remnant mean? It means like leftovers, remainder. The resin you could talk about, you know, the leftovers. Josh C says, have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and have believed. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't see any more questions. Mark, where'd you go?
He is here.
Yeah,
There's
he
two
left.
more.
I don't interpret that as only Israel, but I understand your view. Well, the reason I interpreted Israel in that passage, he says, what advantage has the Jew? Or what is the benefit of circumcision? So this is the question he's answering. And let me share my screen again. Oh, I am sharing my screen. He says, great in every respect. First of all, that they, who is they? The Jew. They were entrusted with the oracles of God. And see, there's a pun here in Romans 3:2. If you look, let me see, where is it? 3:2. That they were entrusted. It's epistou theson. So this is the word for belief. And this pun is also used in John 2. So when it's saying entrusted, they were entrusted with the oracles of God. What then is some of them didn't believe? So there's like a pun going on there. And they were entrusted as stewards, but yet they weren't faithful. They didn't believe. And would that nullify the faithfulness of God? And then you'll see that also right here, the faithfulness of God, piston. May it never be. And so that's what it's clearly talking about Israel. The only way you can try to get around that is if you try to say this is not referring to an actual Jew. And I don't know of anybody on the face of the earth that takes that interpretation right here. I think everyone takes the view that this is talking about the physical Jew here. Because look, circumcision is in parallel with that. So he's not talking about a spiritual Jew or the church is Israel or anything like that. I think even supersessionists, which is the better term than replacement theology, or some of them like the term fulfillment theology, they would probably say that this is referring to physical Jews here. Funny question. I wonder if you could rap in Greek. No, I can't. If I could speak in Greek, I could rap in Greek. I mean, I could just go from like lexical forms of words. Like I could say, I'm the didaskalos with the logos. But to say that right, I would have to say didaskalos proston logon. I'm pulling from John 1 there. I would have to say I'm the logos. So I'm the one. So I would have to say ego and me, right? I am the one would probably be ego and me ace. No, haste. Ego and me haste. And I don't even know if that's inflected form. Ace halagos ton lagon pros ton lagon. I'm the one. Mark keeps falling in and out. What's happening, Mark? Do you have like a bad connection?
Can you hear me now?
No, I can't speak in Greek. That means like language. Yeah, I can hear you. You're leaving the chat and coming back in. That's what's
Oh, it's
happening.
because I couldn't find the StreamYard portal, and every time I tried to come back in, I was on twice. So I had to turn my phone on and off to come. I come back and only hear you once. I was getting the double sound.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not sure. Well, if there's no more questions, we're gonna land the plane because I need to discipline myself and get working on my paper. So
Yeah,
I
I
won't
think
be doing a
Janet-
stream working on that paper. But go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say I think Janet, Taylor, and Chris, they were on there for quite a while, so they did a good job.
Yeah, Janet started at 7, and then Taylor came in. So tomorrow Janet is going to start at 6. Okay. So that'll give more time. But this was just to get people's feet wet. I like to throw Janet in the water and watch her swim. That's what I did with y'all too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Janet, you did a good job. You did a real good job, Janet. Thank you.
Yeah.
All what I'm going to do is just open the door and Free Gracer will come in and answer the question. I cannot answer the questions.
Tell the audience why you cannot answer the questions, Janet.
I cannot answer the question because the question here are men questioning and I am a woman. Seems like I'm teaching them. So I don't want to answer the question, but the men answer the men's question or the women's or all the people on the chat.
And who told you that belief?
That's my own thought. I know we are not on the chat, but I am on
Tell them what your thought was at CCF when you first became a Christian.
What do you mean by CCF before I be? Oh, yeah, I already shared a little bit my testimony when the beginning of my Christianity when I become a believer. I already shared that I met a CCF pastor on the plane domestic flight from Davao to Cebu.
Not the evangelism part, the part about the pastoral.
Oh, the pastoral. When I undergo the Bible study under CCF, they told me that the teacher of a single group, because I was single at the time, and the leader asked us. We are 8 single in that group, in that small group, and telling us that why are you here and doing Bible study? We don't teach men Bible study, and yet some of you saying that this man approached me and I shared this Bible to him, and then so the leader told us that, ladies, you are not the one who teach Bible to the men because you are under man's authority. And then he said that the reason why you are here is because God, you are singles, and God have meant for you enable your knowledge here, you are preparing for that God's provision, God's provision for you to be married if you are deciding to be married. And then all my all the group, all the ladies there pointing at me, oh, Janet wanted to be married, like that. Go, what? And then the teacher, our Bible teacher said that, okay, Janet, the reason you are so active on this, God have one for you. So I don't know who was that, but that was 2007. He's the teacher, or she is telling us that. So, and then I got married 2019. How many years did I wait? I'm not waiting because I'm not expected because of my age.
Yeah, but when did you meet me? Don't make it sound like just 2019. We just did
I get
we just
married.
made a chart about the process
It
before
was
marriage.
it was 2013. I think before that, but I ignored the Lehman. I mean, he's not the Lehman Seminary during that time because I just first met him. The friend of mine telling me about this person, the Bible teacher. Then I he this Bible teacher invited me to friend him on Yahoo Messenger, which is I
Simon from
ignore.
India. Yeah.
Yeah, Simon from India. I ignore him, though I already add him, but it takes days or months, I think, before I add him on Yahoo Messenger, because I have this struggle about the speaking in tongues and
Okay. All right.
also like that.
Let
So
me let me fast forward your story because we don't need everything. We just need a
okay,
recap. All right. So the
so
thing is, Asawako, is uh when you met me, right? And we started studying the Bible.
mm-hmm,
I forgot my thought now.
okay,
But basically the reason I was saying, is, oh yeah, Janet was underneath a different covenant at that time, right? Because Janet had been abandoned, and they don't have divorce in the Philippines. You have annulments through the Catholic Church or
mm-hmm,
presumed dead.
mm-hmm,
Okay, so
yeah,
let me just show y'all, Janet. Look, you can understand this passage here. I know you've seen it before.
share your
Uh,
screen, please.
all right, Romans 7. Or do you not know, brethren, from speaking to those who know the law, that the law has jurisdiction over a person as long as he lives? For the married woman is bound by law to her husband while he is living. But if her husband dies, she is released from the law concerning the husband. So this backs up the idea about the covenant, the marriage being related to covenant, right? So then, if while her husband
Yes.
is living, she's joined to another man, she should be called an adulteress. But if her husband dies, she is free from the law, so that she's not an adulteress, though she's joined to another man. Therefore, my brethren, you also were made to die to the law through the body of Christ, so that you might be joined to another, to him who was raised from the dead, in order that we might bear fruit for God. Okay? So that idea is there. Any thoughts, Janet?
No, I agree.
Yes,
So have a
Mr.
question.
Yes, Mr. Universe. Hopefully that doesn't mean go ahead, Mr. Universe. You just asked a question.
Why is that not the pastor? Just not the pastor. You
Just not
mean that the
pastor.
that the pastor, his wife dead, cannot married? Is that what you mean by that? Not
No,
just,
no. I think what he's saying is that is this referring to women in the church or just anywhere?
okay.
Remember, Noah's like 19 or whatever, so he's probably
Oh,
not. He's probably not married. So I think he's 19. But anyway, um,
How able you know the ages of your audience? My goodness.
No. See what he's saying is there a means of asking a question on stream? No, we're not doing that. Not this time. Had an argument with a Catholic recently. I have a question as to how you would exegete Proverbs 23:2. Okay, I can answer it that way, but I'm fixing to have to go after that. This would be the last question. Proverbs 23:2. What is your doctrine, by the way, so that I know how to reply? Oh, yeah. I know what this is.
What do you mean?
This is somebody talking trash. He says he's not. He says he's not.
This is
Yeah. No,
this
this is a joke question. I'm assuming, but we'll go ahead and play the game with them.
just asking. Don't conclude.
All right. So this is where they're trying to say I'm fat. All right.
What do you
Proverbs
mean?
20. Yeah, let me show you why. In 23:1.
Okay.
When you sit down to dine with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you're a man of great appetite. And so they're just making this person is just making a fat joke. Okay, I probably know who it is. They're basically saying you're a sinner because you're not putting a knife to your throat. Well, let me know when I come in front of a ruler. The whole context of this passage is don't be a freeloader. So I don't know what you mean about a Catholic. They might be talking about the gluttony thing, the sin of gluttony, but that's not the focus. The focus is not so much being a gluttonous. It's don't be a freeloader. Don't wear out your welcome.
Maybe he's referring to a Catholic in
Yeah,
that verse.
maybe this is not someone I know, but some people use this fat joke on me.
Yeah, because
So,
Catholics are fat joke. Ay, Catholics are,
well,
you know.
yeah. But anyway, the context is when you're in front of a ruler. So this is all about the whole idea about don't wear out your welcome. Look, it keeps on going on. Do not desire his delicacies. Who? Of the ruler. Because how do you know that the king ain't trying to get you to die or get suckered in?
Catholic are not rulers.
For it is deceptive food.
Yeah.
So they don't even understand. They're not even understanding the passage correctly.
Yeah, and Mr. Universe said, I appreciate your input. So
this is probably a warning about poisoning. Go ahead.
Mr. Universe, maybe he's serious about the verse, because he said he appreciate your he said I appreciate
no
your
problem. But contextually, it's not about gluttony. It's about don't trust a ruler. Honestly, it's like saying
don't trust Catholic.
if somebody says, "Hey," it's like the dope man, right? The dope man, the first hit is free. They want to get you hooked, don't. But if you meet somebody and they're like, "Hey, make yourself at home, enjoy all of this," you got to think, man, there's got to be a string attached. Now imagine if you're a ruler, right? Right now, P. Diddy, right now, if he invites you to take you to shopping, don't go, right? Anyway, some of y'all are gonna laugh at that. Some of y'all are gonna cringe. But regardless of that, the point is that food can be laced with poison. It could be a trap. You could be thinking, hey, I got exalted to this position to go in this ruler and I'm gonna eat. And if you are a person that is a sucker for that, then you'll fall for that. I mean, we can look at a commentary on it, but let's go ahead and this is a good opportunity to show people Constable's notes. And then I'm going to have to go. I'm landing the plane like Janet does. Constable's notes, put in the book, Proverbs, and then you'll see Plano Bible Chapel. Click on it and the PDF comes up. And then we can go to, this is free. It's updated every year.
Yeah, I'm using that to understand the whole book, like the book of John. If I check the outline now, even though I didn't read the whole book of John, but I when I read the outline from Constable's notes, it makes me have an idea of what and why the book of John is there in the Bible.
Right. All right. So let me just show y'all this. The 30 sayings, right? From 22, 20 to 24, they're saying it's one unit. Walkie, that's Bruce Walkie. Title the first 10 sayings, a decalogue of sayings about wealth. Note the chiastic structure in these 4 lines. So chiastic structure is like a CH, like in Christ, the key symbol in Greek. I wish I could write on my screen right here. There should be I know you could do it in other things. Why can't I write? Let's see, tools. I need to learn how to write on a screen in Google Browse. But anyway, so he's talking about he says, note the chiastic structure in these 4 lines. So he's talking about this part right here. Then we keep going, and we get to 23. So all this is about warnings to wealth. It said, the point of this vice is to be humble and restrained. Jesus said this, don't sit in the best seats. Let you get to that best seat, and then someone say, hey, get down here. But no, sit yourself in the low so that people exalt you. But here, the point of this vice is to be humble and restrained in the presence of a prestigious host. You know, there's a video where Snoop Dogg is talking to some Crips. This is years ago. He's talking to some Crips, and he's giving a speech supposedly uniting people to their gang stuff. And the event was preparing a guy for going off the prison. And so Snoop is saying all these things, and in my point, he's like repeating himself. It's fine, Mark. So, but Snoop keeps on repeating himself, and it's like, man, dude, you repeat yourself too much. But regardless of that, what happened was another Crip started speaking. Hey, Dr. Helms. And so the other Crip that was speaking, this is what Snoop said. He said, it's a good thing what you said is good, because right now you're always talking out of pocket. He said, we on some real stuff. We on some business stuff. And you're talking out of pocket. The point is that here's Snoop with all his clout and respect and with his pride from the worldly standpoint, giving this speech, and this other guy thinks he can just speak up and be united with him, in that sense. And it didn't show humility. And so Snoop kind of checked the guy. But I mean, that's kind of like a secular example of this attitude. The guest should put a knife to his own throat rather than to his food. Curb your appetite, control himself. Why? Threaten your appetite with death. I can state this in very commonplace language. Don't make a pig of yourself when you're invited out to eat, especially if you're invited to a place that serves you gourmet food, the type of food that you're not accustomed to eating. And that captures some of it, but it doesn't deal with the possibility of the trap. Let's see what else says. The fact that the host serves delicacies may not indicate that he esteems the guests highly. It could be a test. Like, what's that movie, The Dinner with the Schmucks or whatever? The host may be simply getting him in a good mood for his own selfish reasons. Like Diddy. He may want something from him, or he may be evaluating him. What is before you is better than who is before you. So it's like a test. Daniel faced this temptation and indulged his desires away from home, disciplined himself in his eating habits. This guy says, my father was once invited to dine with Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek, the head of the nationalist government in China, and his wife, Madame Chiang of Taiwan. At dinner, the Generalissimo noticed that my father was not eating much and asked if he did not like the food. My father explained that he was trying to apply a biblical proverb and quoted this one. This amused the Generalissimo greatly. So, you know, if people are going to use it against me, at least use it correctly.
Yeah, so Josie said, what a jerk, or maybe probably, he's not serious at all. No one in the history of the world asked a question about Proverbs 23 verse 2. No one.
Well, it could be a Catholic gluttonous person, but the point, you know, we'll just see. All right, guys, I'm going to land the plane because, hey, Doki, I'm going to land the plane because I need to work on my paper. And, but yeah, we're going to be doing this every day, at least within the weekdays. We're going to be doing this Ask Free Grace. And whoever's free grace can pop in and answer people's questions. There'll be an order. There'll be some facilitating going on or whatever. Janet will open up the room for free gracers to answer questions. This is not a free for all. But yeah. And so instead of telling y'all to do a bunch of things, go ahead, Janet. What were you going to say?
No, I'm just want to have a reminder, people, that I'm only opening the house. Okay.
Hey, Ashley. Now everybody's showing up. Oh boy.
I'm just opening the house and leave the visitors or the free gracer come in, and they are the one will answer your question.
Right.
I read someone comments earlier that, do you like a woman pastor, don't you support women pastors? Canadian. We don't support that women need to teach, have a leader in the church,
and Dr. Helms, the plan is Janet is going to open up the Ask Free Grace stream. Janet, I need to show you how to do the the trailer and the ducks too, if you want to use them. But and also how to make moderators. I need to show you those things. I'll show you those things in a minute. But 6 p.m. Central. Okay, so instead of telling y'all to do a bunch of things, the YouTuber gurus, they just suggest that you go tell somebody to go watch something else on your channel. David Preston is a hyper dispensationalist. He believes that salvation is was by faith plus works in the Old Testament. I've debated him twice before. Once the Old Testament salvation and another on James. He believes so. Dr. Helms, that would be a great debate for you. It would be great to see you in eschatology, and that's a debate I could root for you for on. Yeah, I know, and we need a strong dispensationalist debater on SFT's channel. There's not very much dispensationalism. That's standing for truth. Same channel you and I debated on. Maybe you could take up some of those debate challenges. Just contact SFT. Okay, yeah. So guys, check out other content on the Layman's Seminary. Take a look around and go from there. Yeah, I am too, Dr. Helms. God bless, guys.